Hello, welcome to Dragon Warriors, and we're only 5 minutes late because people were talking about sport, believe it or
Sorry,
not.
I'm not even a sportsman overall, except for football.
Yeah. So we're getting into the final sessions. I don't know how many sessions are going to be left, but our gallant band of adventurers, having dealt with one set of problems, decided to delve into the Wistron Wood to track down Lord Tenebron, who is apparently one of the conspirators against Ellis Land. One of three, it would seem. And he is allegedly, nudge nudge, wink wink, a vampire, so the peasants say. Having penetrated his ancient and crumbling mansion deep in the Wistron Wood, they found an enormous catacomb full of skeletons stretching out in the lands beneath the Wistron Wood, out from the mansion in all directions, with countless skeletons digging away, building new caverns. Apparently, for generations, the dead of this area have been buried here and raised and placed into stasis as an enormous undead army awaiting for the command to rise. However, much like the Borg, regarded Starfleet as not much of a threat and let them walk around the Borg cubes unmolested, so our adventurers have gone largely unmolested in the catacombs. So much so that they let down their guard and rested in one of the cavernous cubby holes down there. So we rejoined them after they've had their breath back, a bit of a snack and some water, and deciding what to do next. Over to you.
I think we should collapse these tunnels.
Okay, you want to die, Jack? That's you want to die, Celine? That's fine by me. I'm going to go and kill a vampire. Don't know about you guys.
Can't leave these things here to
Right.
carry on their dark deeds.
No,
There was one
if we
rumour,
take out
Celine.
the one in charge, the problem will solve itself.
They will fall.
Well, we can
I
do know
certainly
that.
deal with them, but we
Or
should
just stop
prioritize.
doing that.
We just have to find top cheese jockey and take him down.
All right. Fine.
So, and I've got some holy toys.
I
with
mean,
me.
worst case,
Got my
if we kill the main guy and these continue just doing what they're
Right.
doing, we just end up with underground highways.
There's a highway. Is this some sort of...
Well, it could be
Magic.
interesting.
More like a low way, really.
It's just lots of tunnel. It could be useful, in fact, by itself. But yeah, there's a long-term plan. I'm sure there is.
I was muted.
So it's
what,
find
what
the
else
box.
is in these caverns?
So,
Did we already explore all of them?
You've no way near explored all of them, but you've you kind of travelled in one direction until you reach the end. You've got chalk marks or charcoal marks, so you can find your way back. But it just seems to be stretching out in all directions with these pillars every so often, with the skeletons
Basically,
surrounding
it's
them.
it's a spider's web under the ground. That's what it's basically like.
Yeah, and some of these pillars were hollowed out, and the interior had skins hanging up in them.
It doesn't seem worthwhile exploring all the caverns because it would just be more skeletons, more digging.
Judging by the walls, Grim, is there any way of basically telling which could lead to this like antechamber of where his lordship would abide? Because it looks like a lot of the skeletons are digging on one side, and there's a lot of skeletons digging on another side. But is there like any sort of like way of telling which way would be the way to put this anti-lord to his final rest?
So Sir Elaine's the only one with tracking, isn't he? Can you make a perception roll for Elaine? Just D20 equal to or under your perception.
And I think I succeed. So, like, perception. I succeeded. Hey,
Okay.
that's rare because my perception is quite low.
So, checking the marks that have been left by Madrock and trying to sort of get your bearings, you know where the way down was that you came down. So you came down into below the wine cellar and then down again, didn't you? So you can figure out where that is, and from there you can figure out roughly the size of the house. So if there is any other way up into the house where you assume the vampire lord's crypt, whatever it would be within the footprint of the house. So with that figured out, you can probably scout the entire area that's under the mansion and try and find a way up.
You want me to scoot ahead,
So what
Sally?
was that? There's a fountain. There was a bluff. There, that's all I can remember.
So do you want to scout that area, and in what way do you want to scout it? Sort of up, down, spiral? How do you want to go about scouting that area?
Up there, up and around the castle.
Start from the outside and work your way in, or
Well, it's obviously got to have an emergency entrance and exit phone to go out and feed and come back. So I would say start from the inside.
start from the inside. So figure out roughly where the center of the hall is, and scout from there. Okay. So, and sticking with your tradition of going left. Right. So following the marks Madrock's left, you find your way back beneath the wine cellar. From there, you make your way across under roughly where you think the centre of the mansion is. And then begin your explorations in a slow spiral. Okay. On the eastern wing of the mansion, as you're walking down, you come to a blank area where several of the normal skeleton pillars are missing. There is a spiral stone staircase leading up to a trapdoor set in the floor.
So you're saying there's a spiral staircase going up now?
Yeah, leading up to what looks like a flagstone trapdoor in the your ceiling, but presumably the floor of whatever room is above it.
I'm not. Do you guys object with me sneaking up? I guess that's a no.
It'd be a good idea just to know where it goes. Yeah.
I'll sneaky upstairs.
Okay, you've reached the top. The trapdoor is a fairly substantial stone flagstone, so can you roll d20 equal to or under your strength to shift it?
I get a 7. Real way.
Okay, you climb to the top of the stairs, put your shoulder against the flagstone, and it grinds up and open. A lot of dust comes away with it and dead spiders, so you don't think this flagstone's been used for quite some time. You emerge out into a dark room, bring your lantern up, and as it shines around, this appears to be a chapel of some kind. In the eastern wall, there are what were once stained glass windows, but they've been painted over black, in thick black paint. The floor is covered with an intricate, spiralling, intertwined pattern. And towards the eastern side of the room, before the windows, is a large statuette of a serpent, which glimmers in your lamplight.
What's
Not
it
a
made out?
white worm.
What's it made out?
Okay, you lift your lantern and take a closer look. It appears to be bronze inlaid with gold, and its eyes glitter like gemstones. What is your magical defense?
10.
Okay, you feel sort of entranced for a moment as you stare into the snake's eyes, but then manage to tear your own gaze away.
Okay.
That'll be greed, messy.
Yeah, because I've got this meditation, basically, cloak thoughts and unreadable by mind powers.
He doesn't have an angel and a devil on his shoulder. He has a Ferengi.
And a Romulan.
And a Kenda.
Oh dear.
Oh, steady on. There's limits.
Do the eyes look like they're gemstones, or
Do you want to look back at them again?
no? When I had the opportunity, did they look like gemstones?
They did look like gemstones. Rubies,
Right,
you think?
I'll walk my way back to the passageway where the others are waiting for me,
Yep.
and I'll sneaky back down.
Yep.
Right, guys, I've got good news and I've got bad news. What do you want first? Sirlane?
He's having a quick nap.
Okay.
Just
Paladin?
You lead with your gut instinct.
Right. Up there, we have a bronze gold statuette of a snake. I felt very uncomfortable when I was up there because it felt like it was trying to probe my mind. Now, the thing is if we go back up there, it's going to no doubt have to attack us all one by one, or it can do a group thing. But my theory is, now I could chuck a holy flashbang up there, blind the little critter, and then we can try and pluck its eyes out whilst it's
Well,
dazed and confused.
Why don't we just use a sack and throw a sack over it?
It's a big statue, Peridin, and I'm talking big statue.
Okay.
How tall was it,
well,
Grim? How tall was it, Grim?
if this had dust all over it, it's not used. We don't have to go up there. We know where it goes now. Well,
Right.
were there any exits out of the chapel, or were they nailed?
There were two alcoves that could have been doors, but he didn't really check. So they were probably exits north and south.
I'll relay that.
If we activate whatever that thing is, it's a fair bet the governor will know. At the moment, we haven't been rumbled, and that gives us the luxury of mapping out as much as we need. Could still get the jump on this guy before sunfall. What the hell? Full. Yeah. Dark.
How tall was the statue, Grim?
Pretty big. 3 feet tall.
That's all right.
3 feet tall.
It was born as gold.
I still think a bag would work just fine if you were to kind of approach it off on the side and just throw a bag over its head. It's only 3 feet tall.
Okay. If you want me to
Then-
go back up,
Yeah,
if you want
I
me to
mean,
go back up, if you want me to go back up there and put a bag over its head, I'm quite happy to do that.
but should we all go up? Like, should we bag its head and then we all go upstairs and have a look around, or do you think this critter
Well-
lives down here somewhere?
Well, what I was going to do is I was going to chuck a normal flashbang up there, blind it, and at the same time, after it's been blinded, then put a bag over its eyes.
No, the flashbang will just alert everyone in there. Grim mentioned that some of these pillars were hollow. Let's see if one of these pillars is hollowed out enough to have like a stairwell going down, like a skinny library stairwell, floor to ceiling that turns round and round like a spiral.
The few of the pillars you've been in, I think you've been in 2. They just had the hanging skins, so you think they're just more storage areas. If one of them is stairs down, you've got a lot to choose from. It would take a lot of searching.
Well, we can maybe.
Grim,
I mean-
how?
Go ahead.
Sorry. How common is knowledge about vampires for us?
Oh, there's all kinds of superstitions. Yeah, everyone knows the superstitions about vampires.
So I don't want to. I'm not going to be able to.
Whether they're true or not remains to be seen. But
Okay.
yeah, you know all the vampire myths.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Coins in the mouth, beheadment, snake to the heart, garlic, holy water.
Now, the thing that chose them is the whole turning into mist, where they can go anywhere. So if I were him, and one of these columns did have an escape route, why would I have stairs? I'll just have a hole. Now, someone else could step in that. The floor gives way. And you've got, adventurer flavoured omelette waiting for when he wakes up.
How many stained glass windows
breakfast.
were there? How many stained glass windows were there?
There were 2, side by side, either side of the snake statue.
So if I was to fire my crossbow at either window, I could shatter the windows.
You could give it a go.
Yeah, I could do that. Let some.
What direction do they face?
East.
One face.
That will be sunrise then.
Yep. So one faces west to east, and then one faces east to west. Correct?
No, they're both in the eastern wall, both facing west to east. So okay. on the eastern wall, you've got the 2 tall, thin stained glass windows and the snake statuette in the middle.
In place of an altar.
Yeah, on the altar. And on the floor, there's this complex intertwined pattern. And then north and south, there's these 2 alcove doors.
Do you want me to let some light into the room, brother?
Brother's not here. He's off exploring the tunnels. So, I think Ian did say he might not be able to make it today. So.
Okay. So we don't have any mind bolts tonight then?
No.
Is there any way I can?
We are doomed.
Is there any way I can pop up and take a pot shot at both the windows without getting eye-to-eye contact with this serpent?
Yeah. I mean, a window's a pretty big target. Yeah, it's essentially the broad side of a barn, maybe the narrow side of a barn, but yeah. Okay, yeah. So you cock your crossbow, duck up out the trapdoor, and shoot a bolt through one of the windows. It shatters a tiny hole through one of the stained glass segments behind the paint. And a streak of pale wan sunlight comes through onto the interior. In the natural light, despite the age of the building, you can see that all the colours of the furnishings and the inlay on the floor and everything is very, very bright, very, very polished, hasn't faded at all. But there is a lot of dust in the corners.
Okay, look. Well, pop back down and tell them.
So on the assumption it's not just a magical trap or a statue of something gribbly that's going to attack us, is there a religious significance? Has this chapel been usurped in favour of some other god, do we think, or is it just there on the altar because that's convenient for it to see?
Well, only Caesora's had a proper look at it, but if Caesora can make an intelligence roll, D20 equal to under your intelligence.
Yep, 5. Did it by 7. Sorry,
okay.
8.
It looks like it was once a Christian chapel in a very old form, closer to the Orthodox true faith from your home. But then all the true faith trappings have been removed or scraped out and replaced with these more pagan trappings.
So if I was to put this crucifix around the neck of the snake, I bet you would like me for that.
Probably not.
Guys, I think I've got an idea. Because the thing is, if the crucifix round the neck of the snake's not going to like it one bit if it is living or animated in any way. But at the same time, it means it can sort of like catch the light of the windows I've just shattered. Was there any way to get behind the snake at all?
So, getting a bit of echo. I think it's coming from Absalom. So if you could just mute when you're not talking, that would help.
Did it have its back up against the wall, or was it in the centre of the actual room?
What, the altar? It's there's a gap between it and the wall. It's a few feet away from the wall on that end.
Is anyone else for me to do that then? With the fix round its neck.
I will follow behind.
Well, try
Seems
not to
fine.
look in the eyes of the serpent because it will try and probe your mind as it tried to do it
Okay.
with me.
Uh,
Right.
Give me 1 second. I just have to look something up quick. Okay. Right, sorry about that. Right, where were we? Okay, so
See if I use this dark madness ring of the night, would I be able to see in the darkness and no one else can?
yes.
Right. Guys, stay down here. I'll be back in a sec.
But supernatural anti-dark vision can see through it, so spells and things like that.
All right. So that idea, but
Okay, so you were climbing up out of the cellar up into the snake chapel.
yep.
Okay, so you all come up, bring your lanterns with you. With more lanterns and the little bit of sunlight coming through the small hole in the stained glass window, you can get a better view of the room. Though you're careful not to look at the snake on the altar. Yeah, there are 2 doors out from here, both fairly stout. The one to the north is a plain oak iron-bound door with a ring for pulling it open. The door to the south is of similar design, but has also been braced with additional timbers, and iron spikes have been driven in between the door and the lintel to block it. So the whole room to the south has been blockaded off.
I'm going to be hating for this. Is there anything I can pick up and start sort of like smashing bigger holes in the windows?
You could use your sword.
Question: when you say the room has been blockaded, from in its side or from our side?
From the side you're in, the chapel,
Yes.
the door to the south has been blockaded, wedged. Timbers have been put
Okay.
across it.
So this is from the inside the chapel. Someone was inside the chapel blockading
That room.
themselves. Okay. So if we want to get into that room, we've got to dismantle that blockade, right? It's going to be loud work, prizing everything away.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then Caesaro's just smashed
it
at one
wouldn't
of...
be.
Sorry, go on.
The say would be that loud if we're prizing stuff away.
No, not necessarily.
But yeah, if we have to hack.
Yeah, but then Caesaro's just driven his sword through one of the big stained glass windows, so There's a loud shattering noise, and bits of lead and tin and glass peel away from the window and fall down, and more of the sunlight comes in.
You never heard of Tarpe? I don't know.
Let's just unbarricade the door. I mean,
Okay. Yeah, you set
there's
to
any
it.
reason why you shouldn't.
You set to it and start pulling and hauling at the spikes and the wood, rending it away, with several of you working at it. It takes a while. Yeah, it's a pretty good blockade, but it's meant to keep whatever's in there in, perhaps, more than to keep people out. Though it seems to work well enough that way. Eventually, you get enough of this stuff pulled away that you're able to wrench the door open. Inside,
Is where Brother Absy be going off?
inside is a square chamber. There are holes in the roof, which has partially collapsed. The sunlight that comes in through there somehow feels warmer and nicer than the light that was coming in through the shattered stained glass window. There are a few actual green plants growing in here as well, ivy creeping up the walls. A few closed-up daisies as the day wears on, scattered across the leaf litter on the floor, and beneath that leaf litter there's what was once white marble but has been turned grey with grime. At the far end of the chamber, past the ancient mouldering remnants of candles and rotting flowers and plants, is a statue laying on its back with its hands clasped over its chest. And an
I
inscription.
immediately draw my sword.
And an inscription in Bacile. The statue seems to be laying atop a sarcophagus.
Everyone at the ready.
Yeah, what does it say?
You speak Bacile, don't you?
I think we're good here. Oh, yes.
Indeed, indeed.
Here lies Ganelon the Paladin. Brave and pure.
Gan Lion.
Yes, or Ganelon or Ganlion, however you want to pronounce that. I would say Ganelon. Ganelon.
I have no idea where I know that from, but I know it. Huh.
Have I
Okay.
have I ever heard of this Ganelon? It seems like someone that
Yeah, seems like
I
someone
might know of.
Seems like someone you'd know. So Ganelon was part of a holy knightly order, the Paladins. His coat of arms was a pair of unicorns, which represented his purity and faith. His location of his body was until now unknown. It was assumed that he died in fighting, in the pagan lands long ago.
Well, long ago, these were pagan lands.
This is true. So it's a knightly order, supposedly founded by a saint. They were alleged to have, all manner of holy powers due to their purity, bravery, and faith.
So
Christ be
much
praised.
so the leech had to barricade grave. Right, that's
So how he would end up to be here is, curious.
We should reclaim this sarcophagus and bring it back to Ellis Land.
Once you clear out the evil, you could return and retrieve the body for reburial somewhere properly holy.
on the other side of the door that we've unbarricaded. Were there symbols of an unwholesome nature or something, like a unholy symbol, try and repel the spirit of this virtuous person, or
No. I mean, the kind of holy aura emanating from the sarcophagus only seems to reach roughly the bounds of the room. So the doorway was probably as close as anything unholy could get before being warded away.
and I might have got the description wrong. Well, you said there was a statue
The statue is
in
laying down.
here as well.
No, the statue is laying down on top of the sarcophagus, like a crusader tomb. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
I sort of got the picture.
So
of it.
not something we
brain.
replaced the snake with.
No.
Right. Okay. Well, there's always that fine line between grave robbing and piety, and I wouldn't claim to piety of any sort, but there's that whole thing of relics, which I certainly wouldn't be comfortable about claiming. But that would possibly gain some benefit against undead, but equally, it might act as a lamp to the moths of all the skeletons down there. They might become aware of us. I don't know how this.
If Ganalon,
Ganelon.
if Gamelon was buried with any holy relic, he would want us to use it against this evil.
No, I mean, he
Question:
might be a holy
if you were an
relic.
evil vampire, would you bury some former enemy with tools they successfully, or I wouldn't bury it. Oh my lord!
Animals can sense evil.
Bloody hellhounds.
Sorry.
Too many of them.
It's okay.
I'm not sure that he would have allowed this fellow to be buried with any useful relics inside. I mean, who would? Mind you, there was that earlier grave. Remember, here lies a worthy foe, and he was buried with his holy symbol. All right, that's a bad idea.
There was someone buried outside which I got the silver crucifix.
Worthy,
Yeah.
a worthy foe. Perhaps he slayed Ganalon and buried him here out of respect.
Or just kept them as a trophy.
Hmm.
You know what vampires are like? They like their the trophies.
I still think we should be looking
That's a
underground.
new one on that.
I wonder, this
If
person
in future
had
we
a
need a
writing
place
desk.
to rest, this could be all.
I think if we should look at a library, and there's probably a link between a library and the master's chamber.
I think we should exhume this tomb, and but do so respectfully, and return the wreck to the resting location where we bury it back in Asland. Once we have slain this foe.
Okay.
Of course.
So you
once we've done.
Okay.
so you must muscle up to the
It's
sarcophagus.
just whether you wanted to have like a finger bone or something to attach to your sword or shield, I think was the usual way of things. But I don't know of a respectful or reverent way of doing that. If I did it, it would be desecration.
Well, if a holy
Regardless
knight
of motive.
desecrates the grave of a holy knight, I think it's probably less sinful. So.
Two holy knights don't make a wrong.
Yes, two knights don't make a wrong.
Two nights don't make a paladin.
Once a night, always a night, but twice a night is better. Oh, yes.
Okay. So, yeah, you
So
must...
at the moment, I think we've just found a good refuge if we need it.
Well, Sir Elaine has decided to open the tomb. So with a bit of help and a bit of effort, you manage to slide the lid off the sarcophagus. the statue on top of it makes it a bit extra heavy, but you do manage to slide it aside. A fragrant scent that reminds you of the incense and anointing oils of the High Celentine Church wafts out of the tomb as you open it up. And laying, with an expression of perfect peace, is a perfectly preserved body of a knight. He has a shiny shield, blue, with a pair of unicorns embossed on its surface across his chest, and a long sword sort of underneath the shield, running down his body. There's a blush to his cheeks. His eyes are shut, seemingly in peaceful rest. But the mortal wound that killed him is still present. His throat seems to have been torn out by some kind of animalistic bite, and it's still wet, glistening, and slowly dripping blood, as if it were just freshly made. But he must have been dead a century or more.
What sort of...
Is it worth risking a little splatter of healing magic? If he's in this state of preservation...
I'll do you one better. First, I think we should examine the body to see if it has any taxidermy marks. Like, what has he been cut, through the chest and his organs? Like, is it an actually, mummified, preserved corpse that still has a fresh wound on its, a superficial wound, or is it like, was he preserved with magic or something like that? So,
Can you make a psychic talent roll, please?
I don't have psychic talent.
Yes, you do. It's a basic stat.
Oh. Okay. Then I will test. Sure.
Oh,
I do. Son of a gun. I rolled a 1. I rolled a 1. Bloody hell.
Okay. Well, there's two. There's two things it could be. There is a form of undead called
cadaver.
Is it cadaver? Yes, cadaver. They're unmarked by decay.
Or, Grim,
Yep.
if I took that ankh that I found in the pyramid
Mm-hmm.
and I popped that onto this guy, we could have him back.
Well, no, I was going to say elixir vitae. When I said I'm going to do you one better, why don't we use an elixir vitae on him if we want to bring him back?
Because that stuff's nasty.
It weakens you a bit, but
It really, yeah. It's.
I'm just looking up elixir vitae to see if there's any limits on its capability.
So this Ankh you have, what does the Ankh do?
Brings you back to life.
Yeah, it's like an extra life.
Yeah.
Caesura had one when he got killed in that tomb. It just instantly pops you back to life. So I don't know whether that would work on a corpse.
-1 health point, but that's it.
Yeah, I think you have to be wearing it when you die, though, for the Ankh.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, for the record, I was willing to do that, though.
Rock and roll.
Potions. This potion may not work properly if the character's been dead for more than a month. Okay. After a year and a day of death, the elixir has no chance of working. Okay.
Okay.
Right, so he could be a cadaver, but you have undead, which aren't necessarily evil, but you've also heard that there are cases where bishops, archbishops, and the bodies of the saints have apparently been preserved through the sheer power of their holiness, so that they do not decay. I was worried there for a minute I would have to
You're making
quickly
it really
stat up
difficult to be an agnostic.
I was worried that you were going to raise Ganelon the Paladin, and then I would not know what to do. It's a bit of a game-breaking thing. Okay.
So do the boots on the feet appear to be worn at all? Not worn as in being worn, but to have scuff marks. Like, is he ambulatory, or is this like ceremonial dress?
It's ceremonial dress. He's been dressed in a brand new suit of chainmail, a brand new sort of white cotton tabard. Yeah, everything is shiny new.
Okay, so he's not up and around at midnight, so he's not our vampire, guys. Bloody hell. Well, I'm going to do, I'm going to read the aura of all the gear and whatnot. Like, does the sword he's with look ceremonial as well, or does it look like it was a real weapon buried with the rest of his ceremonial gear?
The sword and shield appear to be real weapons, though they're unmarked. They have that. Well, everything here is uncorrupted, but you've gotten quite the sense for magic at this point, and you believe that the sword and the shield contain some manner of magic.
I'm going to, in order to suss out their full abilities, I need to read their auras, yes?
Yeah.
All right, I will spend the 2 points and do that.
Okay. The shield is wrought with powerful magic, and you believe that when it deflects a blow, something will happen. The sword just appears to be purely holy. It radiates power of the true faith.
Well, Sterling, you are a faithful. Oh, you're muted, Jack.
Did somebody say magic shield? Whoa.
I just said this seems like my sort of thing.
Yes, indeed. A holy blade and a shield of hit me and I'll show you a good time, my enemy, ringingness.
Yeah, I'll sort of do the cross and then utter a prayer, like and then pick it up.
Okay.
Brace myself.
Are you doing a shafted switch?
How does the aura of the Valandar blade compare to the aura of this paladin's weapon? Is one clearly more potent than the other?
It's different. Valandar's blades were wrought by his sorcerer's magic more than anything else, whereas this is a sword imbued with the power of the true faith.
Okay, so I guess I can draw from that a 6 of one and a half than the other. Yes?
But it would be lovely to pop a Valandar blade into this guy's hand so that his spirit could commune with Valandar. I'm sure they would get on the same page pretty damn quickly. That could be awesome.
Okay, are you taking the sword as well, or just the shield?
Yes, let's take him.
Okay. I'll just edit your sheet, because the shield blocks on a 1 to 3 on a D10.
What's the normal
better
shield?
than the one.
The Gull's Cry shield blocks on a 1 to 2 on a D8.
So this one is 5% better, right? 1 and 3 on a D10.
Yeah.
1 and 4 essentially, or 2 and 8.
So are you exchanging, or are you just looting the body? Which I would
I'm going to return it.
can only have so many shields. So do a shyster switch then, and just
do the whole Indiana Jones.
I'm going to use it to. I'm going to use it to kill his mortal enemy. It's poetic justice.
Yeah. If he does get up because he's been looted, could you honestly raise a sword against him?
Maybe. Plus, medieval people had no qualms whatsoever against like this sort of shit. Way back when. That's why there's no holy relics anymore, where they originally once were.
Whereas in this game, that stuff is actually real.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so Ganelon's
I
sword.
was just saying, it's really difficult being agnostic when you've got proof of power.
Yeah. All right. Ganelon's sword uses a D20 for its armor bypass, but without a bonus. Does
No.
D10 damage normally, D12 versus undead or demonic foes, and it provides you and the rest of your party with a +2 bonus against fright attacks.
that's pretty cool.
Okay. So you take
As
those.
opposed to that, every time you try to fight something, Valandar sword
yeah.
comes in your hand. So.
So you take that, and nothing bad happens. No curse falls upon you. You seem to be fine. The shield is nice and light, and almost moves with your arm, which is nice. The sword is heavier, but it feels potent. It's that sort of weight. Weight is sign of quality.
I guess if there's
Blimey,
nothing,
I'm on a quality red around.
I guess if there's nothing else, we're close the sarcophagus.
Yeah. As you close up the sarcophagus, can you all make perception rolls, please?
I got 8.
Yeah, succeeded. Again, that's cool.
Okay.
I'm
Anyone
back on usual form, 18.
Anyone who succeeded, as you put the lid back on the sarcophagus, the grinding and the shaking knocks some dust and so on off the wall. And behind some of the ivy that's growing there, you can see that there was another door to the south of this chamber, which has been bricked up.
How recent?
A long time ago, but not as old as the rest of the house.
Oh,
Probably about the time that the other door was blockaded, so, tens of years ago, maybe more.
How sturdy are the bricks?
It looks like the wall was thrown up fairly hurriedly and by people who weren't necessarily expert builders, so it's not that strong. You could probably smash it through, given enough time. I mean, it's not like you're acting stealthy lately. So.
Who needs stealth? Let's break the wall down.
Okay.
Break the walls down!
Assuming the rest of you are helping as well, you smash down the wall in short order. Bursts into a very old-looking room, even older looking than the other furnishings in the house. These are simple, crude, a low oak table, a few not chests, what do you call them? Trunks, a bookcase, but rather slim, slender, with rotting remnants of books on it. There were large windows all around the eastern and southern walls, but they've all been bricked up. It's like this room was just walled off and left. You've all had some experience with nobility and people who live in slightly posher houses and things. So this would have been a day room.
Solarium.
Yes. But it's very, very old. Probably a couple of centuries out of date. Very, very simple, crudely built furniture. The floor is simple red terracotta tiles. There's the rotting remnants of a rug here that's stiff and dusty with age. Spiders, normal-sized ones, not giant ones, have had a field day and festooned the whole place. There's a couple of wasps' nests up in the beams. Long dead.
Curious, the knight who was buried out front, Sir Ganelon, Would he date from the era this room is seemingly
No,
indicating he's from?
he's a bit younger than that. This room is maybe 12 or 13 generations old. So
Any secret compartments?
200 to 300 years. Make a perception roll to dig around the room.
4.
Is anyone else looking around?
Yeah, succeeded again on a perception roll.
Okay.
I look forward to failing all of my
Failed with a
attack rolls.
19.
Between you, you find a couple of things. There's a slightly larger, grander chair which has been carved in an ornate fashion, though the carving's been worn smooth with age. But on the armrests, there's 2 lions' heads, and behind one of them, you find a small secret compartment, which has papers of lineage in it. And Caesura finds a false bottom in one of the wooden trunks. And laying within it is a very old Bible of the True Faith, with weird-looking burn marks on its surface.
Do the birds look familiar?
They look like handprints, sort of burnt into the surface of it.
The silly bugger tried picking it up, didn't he?
And I thought my son was gifted when he did handprints.
I think this is an important clue.
Can I check to see the last couple of pages of the papers? Not in the Bible, but the Patents of Nobility. Is that what the...
Yeah, that's what they're called. They're very old. They appear to be genuine. The calligraphy and the gilding and everything seems to be genuine, and they are the patents of nobility for a Lord Tenebron.
I was hoping we had evidence that he wasn't the Lord and we could evict him legally.
Is there a
Okay, so
given-
when does it show who was born?
Well, this is apparently an earlier Lord Tenebron. They don't actually give his first name anywhere, do they? I mean, the current Lord Tenebron is supposedly the 13th Lord Tenebron, and these are the letters of patent for the first Lord Tenebron.
Long time ago. Oh.
You're going to make me come up with a name, aren't you? Okay.
Maximus.
To the random generator!
To the random generator. Okay, hang on.
We're going by that thinly veiled Highlander reference. Is the handwriting the same when they're signing it or something? What we've got is this baron, hundreds of years old.
Talks a little once in a while.
Because, of course, if... Okay, this does throw up a lot of questions. If it's... One thing being an open secret, But if we've got proof that he is actually dead, then on paper, he's not the Baron of anything. I can't see the king being invested enough to maybe get rid of the guy. But it does mean legally he couldn't call... He wouldn't have a place in any of the politics, apart from this little triage thing that he's got going. He wouldn't have any actual place in noble society.
I'm not sure that you're right
Apart from,
about
of course,
that.
the bastards where might makes right.
If he were able to walk and talk and interact with people, you can't very well claim that he's dead. Not
Yeah,
according.
but if you can't do it during the day,
Well, that doesn't mean that he's dead. It just means that he's differently living.
Undead.
he self-identifies as someone who's alive.
He's mortally challenged.
He's differently mortal.
Yeah. Don't we just love 20
Okay, these patents of nobility were issued upon the ennoblement of Adelfrid Tenebron. About 13
That's
generations
the oldest name
ago.
you can find, isn't it?
So, are all the lords of the manor named Adelfred? Is there any like any clause indicated that or any? Do we have any idea if for years the lords of this manor have been called Adelfred? Is there a naming tradition or anything like that?
Back in the Grand Hall, there were the portraits. Not the gallery, the Grand Hall. There were the portraits of the 13 Lords Tenebron. And it was like with every generation, they became more twisted and debauched looking. But there were 13 portraits. No one has a particularly eidetic memory, but... There were 13 different names.
Okay, there are different.
Actually, Zorro might. There's a memorize skill. Did you take it by any chance?
I can't remember. Did you take the memorize skill?
No,
Can
it
you
is
remember
essential
whether you
that we
Are you
know,
with us?
it is essential that we know every single name. Make them up, Grim.
Yes.
Do it.
Well, no, it's just whether that's the same person, but just getting a bit crankier looking over the years,
Well,
or generations, or whatever.
I always thought that vampires, when they get older, they become more bestial, they become more alien, they become more bat-like. It
All depends on the bleach, doesn't it?
He doesn't have memorized, so you'd have to go back to the main hall to check. Can you, however, make intelligence rolls anyway for me, please?
Sure.
Did it by 6.
15.
Yes.
15. Let's see if
6.
I made that.
Okay.
Even with my stats, I made it.
You're rolling well today.
I critted on an intelligence roll.
Well, okay then, since you got the crit roll, it occurs to you first. Family Bibles often have genealogies and records of births, marriages, and deaths of the family within them.
And we have a Bible with burn marks on it. Let's open the Bible.
Oh, yep. It's a handwritten copy, probably commissioned from an abbey for a vast amount of money. There are records of births, marriages, and deaths, and so on in very old Ellislandic, which is a bit hard to read. But they stop 13 generations ago, with a record of a whole bunch of deaths, all attributed to a plague or a fever that swept the land at that time. Though the first Lord Tenebron isn't listed amongst those who died, but it looks like from the rest of the records, his wife and all his children died of this illness that swept through. Though, with the critical roll, Elaine remembers that the second Lord Tenebron was called Galadwine, which apparently was the name of Tenebron's oldest son, who died of the plague. At least according to this Bible.
Wait, his second oldest son was called Galad?
No, his oldest son, who died.
His oldest son that died was called
Galadwine.
Galadwine.
Yeah. And that is the name of the second Lord Tenebron you remember from the portraits.
You know what this means?
Absolutely nothing.
I don't know.
No, it's just proof that has been taking the name.
I'm not putting things together. Then is the original Lord Adelfred? Is he the vampire?
The first generation.
Well, yeah, but we knew it. It's just we can now prove it, which probably won't mean a lot if we don't get out of here alive. And if we get out of here alive, then you guys probably already killed him. So it's just nice to know.
And the son's name,
Galadwine.
Gallowin. He died of a fever. This indicates.
Yes.
And there's no record indicating here that the first Lord died.
No, he seems to have survived the plague.
Okay.
He is a plague.
Is
He is a
Bainline's name mentioned in this Bible or the patents anywhere along?
The patents is only the original.
Because there's could be a reason he was buried here.
Presumably they were buried here, the family. The patent is only for Adelfred. So presumably there will be other faked patents of nobility for the alleged other generations.
Well, if there's anything else, we should just move on.
Okay, well, the only exit is either...
So Bainline's name isn't...
So?
But Bainline's name isn't mentioned in this Bible at all. I'm wondering why he was buried here.
Oh, no, Galadon, the
Unusual.
paladin, his name isn't mentioned in the Bible, no.
Galadon.
Yeah, he's not mentioned in it.
Yeah. Weird.
They sound like Gallowin and Galadon, right?
Yeah. Just coincidence, because I literally did just randomly generate the names just now, so...
Well...
What about the Herald? I'm being confused. That whole lion and the unicorn thing.
Do you know
Two
medieval naming
unicorns for him.
convention? Medieval. Sorry.
Go on.
I was just going to say, medieval naming convention. They did actually use a lot of alliteration in sibling names.
Yeah.
Like King Alfred's, his brother Ethelred, and his father. Ethelred. Yeah.
Fredelfred the Red.
So it's not. It makes sense. It's a happy accident.
Yeah.
Happy accident.
So, other than smashing out the windows, the bricked-up windows of the day room, the only way to go is back through the tomb and then back through to the Snake Chapel. And then you can either go back down into the catacombs or take the door to the north.
Just to north. I don't see any reason why we should go to the catacombs.
Indeed.
Okay.
Well, I think there's a better chance that he's sleeping down rather than in the house.
Okay. You open the door and pass through to the north. This is a large square room with a lot of boxes and shelving. There is a small table to one side, at which is sat a desiccated skeleton with a long wispy white beard still clinging to the remnants of flesh, and a cloak. The table has a chessboard on it, and the skeleton's hand is on the queen, the white queen. There is a small servant's door in the western wall, and there is another sturdy door in the northern wall. The floor is dominated by a big set of red and yellow tiles, and there are 1 foot to 2 foot high chess pieces arranged on that floor as if ready for a game.
Do the pieces... You said they're lined up as if they're waiting for a game to be started? They're not mid-play, correct?
They're not mid-play. They're all in their first
They're
play.
starting positions, okay. So what kind of game has unfolded on the board?
On the board, the pieces seem to have been knocked around a lot.
So it's not able to recreate what would have been on the board then? Okay.
No. There is a chair on the opposite side to the skeleton.
Is there a rug under this table?
There is.
I think we should check under the rug for a trapdoor.
Okay, well, you carefully lift the rug without disturbing the skeleton too much. No, there's just more tile flooring. There doesn't seem to be any sort of trapdoor.
Okay.
So there's a table with a chessboard on it.
Yep. So a games table. And this skeleton is sort of half slumped over it. And pieces are scattered over it. But then the floor is also a giant chessboard.
What are the pieces on the floor?
All the pieces are there. They're all set up for a game. They are exquisitely carved in a kind of Norse style, like the famous is it Shetland, I think, chess set.
Right. I don't know. What happens if I rearrange the pieces on the boards or set them up for a game?
Sorry, it's the Lewis Chessman. It's the famous set, so they're carved like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about as well.
Yeah. So, sorry, what were you doing?
Rearranging the pieces on the boards to resemble the floor.
Okay. Yeah, you rummage around, pick up the pieces. A couple of the pieces are in the dried out, rotting remnants of a dead pigeon, which is laying under the table. But you manage to fish them out without too much trouble and set them up on the board.
Could have sworn that would have activated something. That's normally how this goes, isn't it?
A pigeon couldn't have swallowed a piece. It just doesn't work.
Not without being encouraged quite viciously.
What if I sit down on the opposing chair?
Okay. You sit down. There is a slamming and locking noise from the doors around the room.
Oh. What have I done?
You put your arse in it.
Have we just been locked in?
So it would seem.
Is there like...
Grass, I thought I would open something, not lock us in.
You're on the right-hand side.
So Jack is playing black, and this.
No, Jack is playing white.
Oh no. But what now? Nothing else is happening.
Play a game of chess, see what happens.
Um. Jeez. What was if I pick up the white piece, move it like the pawn, and move it forwards 2 squares.
Which pawn?
I'm not very good at chess.
Okay, well, we'll take the numbers 1 to 8 as the vertical axis and A to H as the horizontal axis.
So if I put a chessboard, I'm getting a picture of a chessboard.
Okay.
How about D2? Forwards.
Let me drop a
1.
link to you so we're looking at least a similar board. I'll just drop it in the chat. Okay, so which one? D2 to where?
D2.
To D4.
Yes.
Okay. You pick up the piece, and everywhere around you, apart from your little group, seems to fade away into blackness. The skeleton opposite you, you can see the aura of the man that it used to be. Sort of wise-looking master with a long, wispy white beard and moustache. The spectral form of him leans forward over the table and moves a black pawn from D7 to D5, opposite your pawn.
Damn. I should have learned how to play chess at some point. One sec. You linked me.
While he's doing that, I'm setting to work on the doors.
Okay. They seem to be magically protected and seem to be fading away into this blackness.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm working really fast on the doors.
Okay, what is your next move?
Cesaro,
Yeah. You called?
extra lock picks. The doors are going.
I think it's because Sir Liam's put his arse on it and he's playing some.
I know. I want to get out before he kills us all.
No, he's going to kill himself. That's what he's going to do. Because
What about E2
That's not what he
forwards to E3?
Okay. He moves E7 to E5.
E.
On the floor version of the board, the pieces are sliding or animating and marching according to the moves on this board.
how big are the figures?
Only about 1 foot to 2 foot tall.
Oh,
I guess D4
To
to
E5.
E5.
Right. As your pawn moves into position to take it, one of the black pawns on the main board swells up to man size. He looks like a crazed barbarian biting at the edge of his shield and waving his sword in the air. The rest of the board disappears, leaving just 2 big tiles. One that he stood on and one in front of him.
Nice.
He gnashes on the corner of his shield. Ugh, fight me!
Wait, this is happening to me?
You're still sat in the chair. Everyone can see this. The rest of the board faded away. The black pawn swelled up to man size, though completely black head to toe, and is chewing on the edge of his shield and waving his sword around, demanding someone face him.
Oh, so he's attacking my friends. But I can't see it.
You can see it. Everyone can see it. He's just waiting for someone to fight him.
I'll try and catch his eyes.
You, woman, come fight me.
What's your name?
Oh my god.
Pawn.
That's what the internet is for.
Yes. Come, fight, woman.
I don't want to hurt you.
Then you're playing the wrong game. Come, one of you. Or your player will pay forfeit.
Just attack him already.
Dude, you started this.
You put your arse into it, Sirleen. So you
Fine,
fight
I have to do everything. So yeah,
You try to get up, but you're restrained by magic and thrown back into the chair.
that's what I thought would happen.
Come, fight!
Excellent cover story.
You,
I take it lots
can't
have faded
move.
away before I...
no. Cowering
You're being
knave!
attacked by a midget.
Come here, fight!
You're being attacked by a midget pawn.
Well, he grew to full size.
Busy cowering. Stick to what you're good at. That's what my parents...
You then,
He grew really big.
the sly fellow. Come, fight!
What?
Again,
Prove your
still
worth.
cowering.
Okay. I'm taking one for the team. If I die, I die. Okay, unsheath my swords and walk up.
Dude, borrow a shield.
Shields
Okay.
are for wimps.
You step in front of him. He raises his shield, but you've got the initiative. So what do you want to do?
I'm going into a defensive pose. Let him get the first blow, and I'm going to counter attack.
Okay, so you're deferring your action. Right,
Yes.
frothing at the
Yes,
mouth,
well, I've got the
he
sword, though.
swings his sword at you. What's your defense?
Well, since I've got main gosh, my defense at this moment in time is defense. It's 13.
Right, he swings wildly with his sword, and it whooshes over your head, and then you can counterattack.
Yep. I'll attack him any given position.
Okay,
Well,
you
he's
duck down,
not
so
moving.
try and get past his shield and stab him in the guts.
Yep.
Right, take 2 away from your attack and roll.
17. Yep, I do it.
Okay. And roll armor bypass.
And you've still not updated my swords because they are +3 now, I believe.
Yes, they should be.
So is that a D8 +7 or
No.
No. right? So
would-
just
it-
go the D8 first.
It was a D8 +3 for armor penetration, should be. +4
Well,
possibly if you have...
Sword of Valda is a D8 +4,
Yeah.
and then it's slash D6 +3.
The
But
second
you
one,
said it's going to
the second number is the damage.
Right,
So, you're doing armor bypass first.
okay. Armor bypass 9.
Okay. So it would be a telling blow, but he manages to bring his shield down just in time and block your blow. So next
Okay.
turn, you have initiative still, so you can attack him again if you want.
No, I'm going to let him get his other attack in.
Okay. So
Yeah,
having
we're
brought
gonna
the
attack
shield
him.
down, he brings his sword down as well. But again, you manage to slip to the side. His sword strikes the tile and sparks off it. Your go.
I get a 5.
So that's a hit. Roll armor
Yep.
bypass
That's 11.
and roll damage.
That is 8.
Okay. You stab him in the guts. Despite being, black from head to toe, looking like he's made of ebony, his body gives like flesh and bleeds black blood. He grunts and readies a swing again. You've still got initiative. Do you still want to wait for him to attack first?
Yep.
Right. He swings even more wildly with this black blood spilling from his guts down onto the tiles. And again, you're just ducking and weaving and
Yep.
from sheer experience keeping out of his blows.
Yep.
Roll to hit.
6.
Roll armor bypass.
10.
And roll damage.
9.
Right. So you duck under his blow again to one side, lash out with your sword, and cut through his throat. He stands there gurgling for a moment and then gradually disappears into mist, as does the piece on the main board.
I'll step back. Keep my swords out and just stand back. Oh, I'm getting too old for this shit. Oh.
So that was your move, wasn't it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he moves F7 to F6.
Is Jack muted? I don't like it. What was he thinking?
Sorry, I was muted. I was also thinking though.
Thought so.
C2 to C4.
Boom.
I'm gonna say that could be an explosive move.
Right. The Spectre leans over the board and examines it for a moment and says, most battles start this way, with the loss of the weakest parts. He moves D5 to C4, taking your pawn, but nothing else happens on the main board. He was just able to take it.
Okay.
I don't understand. The last time he made a move, something manifested on the board, yes?
Yeah.
When it goes into combat, it comes to
Wait, hold on. Why would D1 to D8?
No, D5 to D4.
Yeah, no, I'm doing D1 to D8.
Were you
Take your
muted
queen.
when you said that?
Oh no, I'm not muted. So you took D5 to D4.
Yeah. But you had
So
a-
I'm moving. So yeah, I'll pick up my queen and move it across the board and take your queen.
Okay. So you zoom all the way up the board. When the queen reaches the far end, another piece manifests on the board. The black queen swells up to full size. She appears to be a fierce Nordic queen with an iron-spiked crown. Again, she's black from head to toe.
Do you want to do the honours this time, Keldon, or do you want me to do it again?
You could all attack together.
I'm not much one for the Kiss of Steel.
Nah, I've just got to wage it down for a cat fight, that's all.
Oh, no. Please do the honors.
Yeah. What, you want me to go back up and fight this
I
lady?
don't think
Fair
there's
enough.
anything flamer.
Okay, I'll walk back up then.
Okay. She swings a flanged mace around on its strap on her arm, and readies for combat.
Right, I'll go into defensive pose again.
And wait for her to attack.
Yep.
Okay, what's your defense?
My defense is 13.
13. Okay, hang on. Right. She swings out with blinding speed, clearly a lot more powerful than the pawn, and crangs you with her mace. What is your armor rating?
3.
3. Right. The sharp edge of one of the flanges catches you across the temple. Pretty damn hard. You take 8 hit points of damage.
Oh my.
Oof.
She wants to knight me, I'm going to knight her back.
Okay. Take 1 away from your attack and roll.
I get 2. And that's both swords at the same time. I'm going to shish kebab her.
Okay, so you won't have any defense against her next attack. Okay, so you have to roll for both attacks.
Yep.
So you rolled for one, roll for the other.
Yep. Plus any no bonuses.
No.
No.
So all hit. Okay, roll.
Plus 1.
They should both penetrate armor, so roll damage for both.
Just damage, or do you want me to roll for armor?
No, you don't need to worry about armor. She's not wearing enough armor. So roll
right,
damage for each weapon.
First weapon does 10 damage, and the second one does 11.
Okay, she almost throws herself onto your blades in an effort to fight you, trying to follow up on that powerful blow, but you manage to keep your wits and drive both blades into her shapely bosom. She gasps once and then dissipates into mist, as does the piece on the board.
I'll walk up saying, ouch!
The Spectre leans forward again over the board and says, I would not normally make things this easy for you, but I am so very, very tired. And then he moves his king across and takes your queen.
I'm going to pick up the pawn on E5 and move it to F6.
So taking his black pawn. Hopefully. Right. So as you do so,
Can we communicate?
with the Spectre, Sir Elaine can. But another one of
Why?
the pawns swells up to human size and starts demanding a fight.
Don't look at me.
I fear that if you were playing this game at your full capacity against me, you would defeat me in a heartbeat.
I had hoped that when I died, Tenebron would release me from his service. But no. We play endless games, and I protect his mansion from his enemies.
Were you a steward in his time, or chamberlain?
A servant bound by his will, and now bound by my death in this place.
I assume as we're talking and fighting this.
Yeah, is
This
anyone
pawn.
going to fight this other pawn?
Yes, I'm thinking of what spell I might
Oh.
use. So
Just breathe fire on them.
I'm thinking if I could just stand where I am and invoke a sort of Damocles over his head and just dunk. I don't even know if he'd be aware of the spell taking effect. So yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll start invoking the spell, sort of Damocles.
Yeah. Are you setting a condition for it to fall, or are you just gonna have it drop straight away and chop him?
Well, can it be a condition in my mind like now?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll just try and if I invoke the spell without him noticing it or without it noticing, then when it's seemingly distracted, I'll just drop it down on him.
Okay. Right. Well, just roll the. What is it? Is it
It's a speed 17.
Speed 17. Yeesh. Okay. Right. It strikes him.
And it does. Okay.
And what's the armor penetration on it?
D10 plus 2. So I rolled a 9, 10, 11.
Okay. And damage?
4d6.
4d6. Yeesh.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points. Oh, that's not really a great roll, but anyway, 9 points.
Okay. So you invoke the sword. As you do so, he doesn't notice the sword, but it seems that the magic here locks you in as the person who's doing the attacking. And he snarls and starts to move towards you. Then the sword drops straight through the top of his head, and he dissipates.
Done my work for the day.
The Spectre looks across at you and says, "This will cost me, but I sense something about you. You have a chance to free me from here. Before I go, you are in the mansion of the bishop. The Red King is nothing but a pawn. And the king is of the elven blood." And then he makes an illegal move on the board, moving his king into check, and all of the effects dissipate, and you hear a howl of anguish from the Spectre. The room reappears, and whatever locking magic is in place fades away.
Yeah. Well, thank you, spirit.
Okay, so we did get something.
All the pieces have disappeared, save for a white knight, which remains on the board.
I'll pick the white knight up and hand it to Sir Elaine. This will bring you good luck.
Perhaps.
Tuck it away.
So with that,
We're in the mansion of the bishop. The Red King is a pawn, and the king is of the elven blood.
Yeah. One in charge is
one who lost his son.
Mansion of the bishop. So Tenebron was a bishop before he became a...
not according to the patents of nobility. He was just an earl.
He would have been the firstborn if he'd inherited. It's the second sons that went into the church, unless they took holy orders.
I'm a bit confused about this. Mansion of the bishop. What? I mean, just mansion of the bishop. What would that? The rectory would be the mansion of the bishop, or literally this whole place is the mansion of the bishop. I'm confused. I don't know. Bloody hell!
Damn these spirits!
Maybe instead of bishop, priest. We've already seen evidence of worship of a different, probably not even a god.
And that specter, he addressed me. He said that we have a chance. I had a chance to help free him. Was that what he said?
He was talking to
Talking to
Elaine.
me.
Oh,
Yeah.
But anyway, the doors are open. However confusing the messages might have been. Just to remind you, there was the door south into the Snake Chapel. There is a small servant's access door to the west, and a larger, more standard door to the north.
West just sounds like another way of saying left.
It does, doesn't it?
I think we'll be going that way.
Okay. This appears to be a sort of cloakroom of sorts. There are many hooks and boxes and sort of wardrobes of clothes. They're all stiff with age. There is a very primitive toilet in a sort of closeted area in here, but it looks like it hasn't been used in centuries.
Oh, finally. I've been holding this in for ever since I got here.
Would you use a vampire's lavvy? God knows what lurks down there. Ghoulies. There is a small...
You would if you drank... You would if you drank four flagons of mead before coming here.
Doesn't it take 3 servants to get you out of your armour so you can take a shit?
Yeah.
Or 1 servant to drill enough holes in the bottom.
oh.
How did knights go to the toilet?
When they did it in the armour.
Didn't they have a hatch back there, like the long john underwear? With the
Yeah.
You, squire, open the Bombay doors.
But they did use urine-soaked sand to clean the armour.
Yeah.
So you can imagine what the smell of the battle was, and that's before people died and shat themselves.
Yeah. Pee has so many uses in medieval technology.
Never mind pee. When I learned about how the Romans would and ancient Greeks, before soap was invented, they'd rub themselves down with olive oil and then use these special sticks to scrape all the guck off them, right?
Yeah.
And then apothecaries would collect that stuff and turn it into unguents and oils and potions and stuff. Holy jeez.
Good for you.
Yeah. Recycling, dude.
Yeah.
And that's why they all died once they reached 30.
Church ladies used to donate buckets of pee for making gunpowder.
Get away.
No. They did. You can extract ammonium nitrate from pee. So, yeah. Church ladies. Imagine the WI making ammunition, and that's basically the idea. Right. So, from this cloakroom...
Are you taking the piss?
Yes, to the armory. There's another door to the west, or left, if you prefer, or back to the games room.
Oh, hello.
Let's go to the door to the left, as we haven't been there before.
West is the way to go.
Okay. Stepping out of the smaller door, you find yourselves back in the main entrance hall with the stairways and the grand hall to your north and the main doors to the south.
Wait a minute. Just goes in one big loop.
Well, the way you've gone is one big loop.
Yeah. Going in circles. Just go back the way we came.
Well, there are ways you haven't gone. Because in the Grand Hall, which is just up ahead, you went right to the gallery and left to the library, but you didn't go all the way forward. There was another set of grand doors in the north. So there's a whole northern section of the mansion that you haven't been through yet. But hold that thought. I need to go and grab another drink. Be right back.
North is definitely then where we should go.
Kerden, my dear girl,
Hmm.
have you got any of these lovely healing potions left, or have they all been used?
Yes, I was going to mention healing. Let's see. I have one left here, so I'll ask Grim to mark it off once he comes back.
I thought that queen was going to be a piece of cake, but instead she knighted me with a mace. Ouch. Or...
On Carradin's sheet, slot number 5 is a healing potion. I'll hand that over to Cesora.
Thank you.
Okay. So you can have, I think it's 7 hit points back, isn't it?
Yeah. How many did I lose? Knighting?
You lost 8.
And
Just one away, that's fine.
Grim, I don't see any of the potions of replenishment on my sheet.
No, I've got them noted down separately.
Okay. I would like to take one.
Yeah, to replenish your magic points.
Yes, please.
Okay, so you've got... I'll put it on your sheet now, just so you've got the record there where everyone can see it. I'll just add it beneath your coffer.
I believe I gave one to...
You did.
To Brother Abbas.
And I think you used another one. So you had, I think, half and half, but you're down to 5 healing, 2 replenishment.
Okay, and is that before or after I use one?
So after you've used one.
After. Okay, excellent. I forget what they restore. Is it 2d4 magic points?
That sounds right. Let me just find it.
I'll check on mine.
I wonder if Dave Morris would mind me retro-cloning Dragon Warriors. It would be a bit of a shit thing to do because there's a licensed version. But
what do you mean by retro cloning? You mean like OSR, like D&D stats?
Yeah, like the same way the OSR does. Because you can't copyright mechanics, only the expression of mechanics. It would be I don't know. I would be completely within my rights to do so, but it feels like a shitty thing to do. It's just a shame. I wish it was a licensed game because I do love it from the old school stuff.
Well, why?
You can still make
if
stuff,
I may
right?
ask,
But
why would you want to put it into the OSR? Why not just kind of update the mechanic as they are? Maybe find a dice mechanic to help roll in armor penetration kind of automatically, so you can kind of have everything all.
I have actually been thinking about that. Right, let's see. Potion of replenishment. I think there is a new version of Dragon Warriors in the offing, as an advanced version as well. So we'll see. I got too many projects anyway. Replenishment potion, not potion of replenishment. Okay. 2d4 magic points.
Excellent. Okay.
Or when drunk by a mystic.
5 points back.
I house rule that they let you recover from exhaustion if you're a mystic, because the actual version is a bit too shit for mystics to be taking them. But
Well, I'd imagine it would. I mean, maybe if those other things are in the works. Have you asked Dave if they need someone like you?
Well, he owns the IP, but it's being done still by Serpent King, I think. And the guy who runs that is a good dude, so I wouldn't want to tread on his toes either. But I don't know. I'll think about it. Right. Anyway, so yeah, you'd found yourselves back in the entrance hall. Where were you planning on going after you catch your breath and quaff your potions?
I believe Sir Lane was thinking of north, yes, into the section we haven't explored yet.
I mean, yeah, either that or back to the game rooms, check out that other door. I mean, there's got to be something pretty cool hidden there, considering there was like a chessboard sort of.
Let's finish up in the game room then.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the game room and then through the northern door there.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, the door opens out into a second study room. This one's much more up to date, but it is a total higgledy-piggledy mess. There are scrolls and books all over the place. There's a brazier with 3 iron pots sat in it, bubbling away. There's quite a few lanterns in this room, though none of them are lit at the moment. There's just the dull red glow from the brazier. It looks like it's in use. There's bundles of herbs and dried chicken feet and other weirdness all around the room. There is a small servant's door to the west, and there is a larger, grander, leather-cushioned door to the north, though the leather is old and cracked.
So this room has clearly been habited recently.
Yes.
Yeah, someone's been here.
Okay.
It's chaotic. And
Are
the
these
smell coming
accoutrements-
off those iron pots is not pleasant.
So are the accoutrements here, kind of lining up with someone who uses darker arts than I normally study?
Yes, that would seem to line up from what you can tell.
That I'll just make sure everyone knows, and by me whispering and pointedly, witchcraft. Yes, witchcraft. Am I able to identify what kind of magic is being practiced here? Is it necromancy or just darker arts?
Darker arts, you can't identify it that precisely. Advanced hedge magic, if that's not a contradiction in terms, the kind of stuff that hobgoblins and hags and witches and the darker side of the wise women sort of engage in.
And they learned that, I presume, from the less summery fae they courted back in the day, yes?
Some of it, yeah.
Okay.
Evil mojo. That's what's going on.
Keep your eyes peeled for anyone coming in. I'd like to do a thorough search while we're here for the next couple of minutes into these components and try and figure out what's brewing over there and whether or not there's anything here that we should, that will help us, or anything that
He's
pops
making
out as
COVID-19. He's making COVID-19. That's what he's doing.
Oh no! Instant demonetization.
Right, in a sort of grotesque hamper in one corner of the room, there's piles of putrefying organs. And it's almost like a sort of compost pile. As they reach a certain state of putrefaction, they're able to be removed from the bottom. Those seem to be being combined with ashes, bone, maggots, fungus, and then rendered in these iron pots, and then burnt for a second time into the kind of mucky ashes that you saw in the sacks in the pit.
They're making organic cement?
Maybe what the pillars are made out of.
In the pillars,
You mean,
the skins, human skins, which had been sort of preserved and hung up, and there were also sacks of what you now realise is this same disgusting ash-like substance, which was apparently to be used to fill the skins.
I mean, quicklime.
So I wonder if they're making like zombie ash creature warrior things. Oh God.
Yeah, the books, they're in code, but from the illustrations, as far as you can make out, They're about raising skeletons, zombies, and then this magic to raise these skin creatures seems to be an innovation of whatever foul necromancer has been using this room. So from a single person that you kill, you can get a skeleton, a ghost, and one of these skin sacks.
Is there a fire in this room?
There's a grate filled with disgusting ashes and a few embers, but it's not currently burning.
I'm going to pick up that tome and put it over into the grate.
Okay.
And I'm going to...
It starts to smoulder and curl as the embers start to catch the cover.
And I'm going to dragon breath it into oblivion.
Okay. Yeah, so you inhale and breathe dragon flame into the grate. The book just wilts away and is rendered into ash before it, and there is now a blazing fire in the grate, which throws dancing light all around the room.
All right. Anything else that needs to go in there?
Everything. Probably the necromancer, if you can find them.
Yeah.
They burn witches, don't they?
Yeah, they also
Yeah.
grounded.
Anything that looks like it could be a fetish or a charm, or I'll just start throwing some
Yeah,
stuff.
you throw everything in there. Dried herbs, fungus. Yeah, it smells bad, but you're doing away with this stuff.
Absolutely. Okay.
You said fetish.
We're gonna rope you in.
Yeah, my partner likes me to tie her to the stake and burn her feet.
Cover her with maggot ashes. Oh my God.
I'd do
Pollock
anything for
style.
love, but I won't do that.
What about little nooks and crannies and little hidey holes where there's something extra special hidden away? Look for a secret stash here. They must have.
They were
something.
performing their necromancy so completely openly that you don't think they particularly had any reason to hide anything. But if you want to make perception rolls,
It's human nature. Even in your lair like this, you'd have a few things put away somewhere, even if it's their favorite verses from the good book that they still guiltily read every now and then just to examine.
Okay, well, if you're searching the room even more thoroughly, can everyone make a perception check, please?
I rolled a 10, and I have a perception of 8, so I failed.
I did it by 3, Grim.
By 3.
Oh, I got a 1 again. Aha!
Okay, so Elaine, with yet another remarkable turn of events, finds a loose brick in the wall and pulls it out, and there are a couple of small notebooks in there, hand-stitched.
Not human flesh books, are they?
Maybe.
It's hard to tell. You hope that the cover's a pigskin.
I'm the son of a butcher. I could know the difference between human skin and animal
Well, are
skin.
you going to keep it to yourself if it is human skin?
No, I'm going to share it.
Okay, yes, it's human skin on the cover.
Human skin, guys. Necromantic works. Chuck them on the fire.
Yeah. Should I even paw through them, or should we got to?
Chuck them on the fire, Kerrigan. Put them on the fire.
Well,
Let me just look in the first page or two. It might be important records.
Kerrigan. I'll do it. If you don't do it, I'll do it.
Come on, just a little peril.
We've already had you going crazy once. We don't want you going crazy again.
Oh well, that's a fair point.
So you're just going to burn them?
But you don't want me going crazy. See if it maybe
Why would
Madrak.
Why would they have concealed them in the first place?
Exactly. Maybe Madrak can have a look see and
I'm with a bunch of
no. He's shaking his head. No.
I'm usually the one who wants to burn things immediately, but
well, so has seen the
may
light.
as well look at them then burn them.
Yes, that's my point. Let's have a look see.
Okay.
Oh,
So you open up the first notebook. It's written in code again, but from the illustrations, which seem to be of elongated fangs and mesmeric-looking eyes and so on, it seems to be a study of vampirism.
Ooh.
You see, now that could be useful.
The second book, you don't recognize the notation, but you do recognize the form. It seems to be a whole bunch of alchemic formulae, though practically every page has its recipe crossed out.
Okay.
You want to ask Mistress Edis's head?
Edis, yes. Ask the skull about.
Shake the skull, shake the skull.
Let me see. Well, I can't really decipher the book on vampires, though. No, I can't really make head nor tail of that. However, the formulae, judging by the structure and the few identifiable ingredients, they seem to be trying to create an alternative to a healing potion.
A reverse.
It's not exactly a poison, it is more of an anti-life potion.
Something to preserve life.
Not exactly. Something to empower the dead.
Okay.
When the dead consume us, they take on our power, but it can only normally come from a living form. But this alchemy seems to be trying to find a way to substitute for that life force.
So he's looking for something to, rather than taking blood all the time, he's looking for something to sustain his life,
Perhaps.
preserve his life force. Cheers for that, love.
And the third one?
So we're dealing with a vampire, a Frankenstein in the making, and a necromancer. Explains the bishop thing, yeah? We're in the house of the bishop.
Did I say there were 3 notebooks?
Yes.
I think I did. Okay, well, when you open the third one, it's not actually book, it's a hidey hole, and there is a little jar of ointment inside.
It's not red by any chance, is it?
No.
Perhaps this is that anti-life potion that they were talking about.
Perhaps I should bundle these up and examine them in the laboratory.
If you go crazy again, Curtin, I'm going to put a knife to your back. And that's a promise. Not a threat.
Just
Right.
don't get tempted to use them.
No, you've burnt everything else. You think you've
That's the hell
extracted...
of it. Let's burn all this shit too.
Okay.
No-
You burning the
no
ointment
problem.
as well?
Yeah, let's burn it all.
Okay, when the ointment hits the fire, it flares up brightly, blinding you almost for a moment, and when it fades away, the chimney, the fireplace where you were looking at before, was quite sort of grubby and well used, but now all the iron looks freshly blacked. The coal and charcoal that's piled up looks fresh and new. The brickwork all looks perfectly pointed and preserved. It's as if it restored the whole chimney to its former glory.
Oh my. Well,
So from here, there was the small door to the west, or the cracked cushion door to the north.
The cell. Obviously, with his corpses, no doubt, waiting to be sliced, diced, and
Stewed and fried.
Is it like a visor on the door? The leather door, Grim? To sort of open up?
No, it's just a door.
Just a leather pinky door.
Let's have a look inside.
Okay.
Yes, I think.
The door opens easily enough. This appears to be a sort of master bedroom. It's split over 2 levels, so there's like a rest area and then the bed up above. And on the second floor there is a spiral staircase leading up through the ceiling. Everything is a higgledy-piggledy mess, much like the study. There are clothes and herbs and unguents and ingredients all over the place. There's a few more books and scrolls scattered about, a few more lanterns. There's a huge 3-panel mirror, and there's a bunch of women's clothes. Though there's something odd about them.
Human skin.
No, they are definitely cloth. Kerridan, make a perception roll.
Okay. No.
No. Not much for
Sadly.
fashion, is Kerridan.
No, not really.
Though the sheer beauty and workmanship on some of these clothes makes you kind of tempted to take some of them.
Is there anything in the bedroom?
It looks like it's been slept in. The sheets haven't been cleaned in a long time, so they're kind of slightly stiff with sweat and body muck, but that seems to be about it.
Are the clothes of an old style, or are they of a more contemporary style?
A mix, from very old style all the way through to fairly recent. I mean, Ellisland's a bit behind the continent, so it's nothing, near as up to date or as fashionable as the stuff that you've seen.
What about the stitch and thread work? Is it something that a skilled layperson has done, or like a lady of the house stitching, or is this like master crafted clothing or something like
it's
that?
It's extremely well made, tailored, crafted to order sort of stuff. A pretty penny has been spent on this.
So it's all, well, I guess all clothing would be bespoke in this era, right? Okay.
Any panels at the bed or anything? Any hidden panels or anything?
There is wooden paneling on the walls, but knock. Doesn't seem to be anything hidden behind it. Next to the bed is a big stand upon which someone might sit a kestrel or another hunting bird. And there's a few black feathers around it, and a single bloody arrow on the floor next to it.
This is the bird you shot, Sarah Lane. This is the owner. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Yes. And the approach. Ha! I got you. Good bird.
Is there anything in here that smells? Could this be the necromancer's lair? It's a lady necromancer. Are there any similarities between the things I saw in both rooms? Any carryover?
It's a similar chaotic mess, and some of the unguents and potions and things that are in here seem to have been crafted from the ingredients in the other room. So yes, you think you're dealing with a lady necromancer.
This is her lair.
I'm going to sneak up the stairs, Greg.
The spiral stairs.
Yeah, I'm going to sneak up.
Okay. So you slowly creep up.
I think we should examine this area also for hidey holes as well. So while he's creeping, I'll do that.
Make perception rolls, except for Cesora, who's climbing up.
6. Maybe
Success?
this time.
Does anyone else succeed?
Indeed, yes. 6.
Well, I guess as long as one of you did. One of the panels slides aside, and there is another notebook similar to the one from the study.
Ooh, do tell.
Are you reading it?
I will open it and examine it, but I will call Sir Elaine over first in case I get ensorcelled.
Okay. It's not written in code. It appears to be a sort of a journal, but there's no dates or anything. It's full of florid poetry extolling the handsome virtues and wonderfulness of Lord Tenebron. Whoever wrote this appears to be in love with him. Some of it's quite steamy.
I'll tuck that away.
For later. Right, Cesora, you reach the top, and there's a little wooden hatch.
Stealthily pries it open.
Okay. You prise it open. You're in the middle of a round tower section, you think, with a big conical roof. And it's crisscrossed with wooden beams. And is full of roosting bats.
I've not woken them yet, have I?
No, they're still very
Is it
asleep.
anything? I'll have a quick scan in the room.
There's a lot of bat poo.
Guano, we
Yes.
call it.
And there are dozens of little holes in the wall, which they must come in and out of, through which some of the afternoon sun is filtering.
I'm tempted to chuck a holy flashbang up there and then shut the lids. That'll give them a headache. I'll bring the lid back down, walk back down the stairs quietly.
Okay.
Don't go up the stairs, guys. There's a lot of sleeping babies up there.
So from here, there's the padded leather door south to the study, and there it's a servant's door to the west.
Is this all one floor? Is this all one level? Is there actual stairs going upstairs as well?
There are stairs going upstairs as well.
So there's like a grand staircase in the actual grand hall.
Yeah, back in the entrance hall, there's the double staircase leading up.
So we've already done the catacombs, which is the wine cellar and below.
Yeah. So
and now we've near enough done this floor.
Yeah, near enough. You think there's a few more rooms that you haven't been in, and you think they're all to the west of here.
Yeah, the servants' door. Yeah. Well, servants' door. Yeah. How big did these bats look in upstairs?
They weren't huge. They looked plump and well fed, but
Yeah. Well maintained, well looked at, spoiled. Been getting too much tidbits. Yeah.
So do you want to take the western door?
Yeah.
Okay, this appears to be a sort of what would have been the preparation room, sort of a minor kitchen. It doesn't seem to have been particularly well used in a long time, at least not for its intended purpose. The great big slab table does appear to have been used recently, and there is a half-skinned human body pinned out over it.
I'll let me guess. All that's inside, so now been removed.
And there's a sewing kit with several leather needles and some rough twine.
Oh, heavens to Betsy.
You can hear from the west, distantly, someone humming and singing somewhat off-key, with a cawing croak joining in on the chorus.
Is it any shadows?
No, it's distant. It's just that there's so little sound in this building that you can hear sounds from quite a way away.
Yeah. Sounds like someone's a happy chappy.
This is just Cesora who's aware of this, yes? Who clicked ahead? We're still back in the room?
No, you can all hear this coming through.
Does it sound like it's getting closer or distant?
It's distant and not moving.
It must be whoever it is, maybe up on top. Are they in a room ahead or maybe above us in another chamber? That's the necromancis. Necromancis, sorceress, necromancis, necromantrix.
Sorcerer, necromancer, sorceress, necromancer. Yeah, I don't know.
Necromantrix, like dominatrix, necromantrix.
Evil bitch must die by tonight. There you go.
Okay, that's...
Instead of a necromancer, a necrophemcer.
There you go.
How about necrophilia? There you go.
That's something different entirely. The two do often go hand in hand.
Yeah, they do. Like Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
Strawberry cream.
That is our necromancer. I don't even know if someone who practices foul arts like this deserves even a hello. Just
God
No,
damn it.
no.
I was muted, so nobody heard my amazing joke.
All right, what was your amazing joke then? Let's hear it.
I'm not
Then.
even gonna say.
you have to.
It wasn't that great. I said I prefer to call her mistress.
Oh God, go back to being mute, Surly.
Okay.
Yeah, put your helmet visor back down and shut up.
Yeah, take a vow of silence. Take a vow of silence.
We'll call you when we need something stabbed. Right, so do you want to move on towards the sound?
I'm going to go sneaky.
Okay, so you're going to creep ahead.
Yeah.
With the rest of you following at a reasonably safe distance?
Clunk,
Yes,
clunk.
yes, definitely.
Okay, so you ease open the small servant's door in the west wall and move through. In the interior is a dining hall, or at least what was once a grand dining hall. It doesn't appear to have been used in some time. There are a good dozen finely dressed but out of date corpses scattered around the table, dried out, husks covered in cobwebs, and long rotted food on plates in front of them. The singing seems to be coming from another servant's door in the west wall.
Sounds like the Hewitts makes the bait smoker.
Behind the singing, sort of quieter and even more distant, you think you can hear music now as well. A weird funereal dirge.
Seems like we're rapidly approaching this Lawton Narion.
Thing is, does it sound like it is ritualistic? Is it a spell being invoked or something being summoned? Is there that cadence to it? Do I recognize? I don't have to put that comment there now, but is it? Does it strike me as being a spell, or is it someone who's actually engaged in a proper funeral dirge, or just someone whiling away the time with a pet?
The music that's being sung is not in tune with the music. So you listen. I shall go into a hare with sorrow and sick and mickle care, and I shall go in the devil's name. I'll come home again.
So and the song doesn't match with the music. It'd be like hearing like death metal played over Mozart, like.
Yeah.
Okay.
That could be cool.
I don't know about that. Some hardcore, paganistic, Finnish vodka, gobbling.
Hardcore Gregorian chant. There you go. Hardcore Gregorian chant.
Well, how do we approach this challenge? I mean, do we just go around the corner and snipe her and just put her out of her misery once and for all? Do we interrogate her?
Well, I can sneak in and just like course the bitch. If it is a bitch.
We just slay her. We've already got enough evidence to know that he's a villain, a fiend.
Do we even want to interrogate her, or even take on the burden of knowing what to do with her after? Or should we just? She's a necromancer. If I can use my made-up term.
She's a evil bitch and should be smited.
Seems primarily in the business of interrogating people.
Oh, friend, well, there's obviously some plot at it. I mean, knowing more about. All right, I'll follow.
Okay, so Cesora taking the lead again.
Oh.
Yeah, sneaky,
You're muted, Abs. We can't hear you.
Yeah, I'll go sneaky go.
Okay.
No, your mouth is moving, but we can't hear you. Even though it doesn't say you're muted, there's no sound coming through from you.
You might have to quit out and rejoin or something.
Who? Me or Jack or
Absalom? I thought he was just being quiet, but
Oh no, yeah, I can't.
it looks like he's
either.
completely frozen up now. Oh well, hopefully he'll be back.
Either that or he's really good at staying still.
His internet's a bit shit, so Has he only just gone like that?
Who? Absalom.
Yeah.
Don't know. I don't think. Don't know how long he's been like that. I wasn't watching him.
I haven't got the screen on much of the time because I'm looking at my notes. But yeah, okay. Anyway, right. So Cesora creeps on ahead again, and eases open the next door. The singing sounds a lot louder, and this seems to be the kitchen, though it has been turned into a larger version of the laboratory that you saw before. Human bodies stacked like firewood in one corner of the kitchen. The hearth is blazing away, and there's a big cauldron bubbling on it. There are skins hanging up. There are knives piled up in a wash basin. With her back to you is a hunchbacked woman working away on something, with a crow sat on her shoulder. And she's singing away.
I'll point to Serlene, point to the bird. On the count of 3, I'll shish kebab the bitch, and you take the bird down.
Alright.
Yeah, Absalom's dropped off now, so hopefully he'll be back in a sec. Okay.
We're gonna wait for Absalom, or
Well, he normally. Oh, there he is.
He's back. Let's wait a moment.
Through now.
You're
Hello?
right.
yeah, you instantly went down.
Yeah, you disappeared. Can you turn your cam off again because you're really sort of roboting and breaking up? It might be part of the problem. So
Okay, am I coming through though?
yeah, that's much better. Cool.
Right.
Right.
So I was saying the only thing we want to interrogate this one for, I think, is the location of the vampire.
Good suggestion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, if you can.
Or have you killed her already?
No, they're about to attack. They were counting down from 3. But if you want to take her alive, the option's there, and then you can interrogate her. So, Cesaura's reflexes is 16. Elaine's reflexes is 16. What is Madrock's reflexes? Or is it just going to be quicker for me to look them up?
11.
11. What's
11.
Carradine's reflexes?
I believe they are 11. No, they're 10. I'm sorry, they're 10.
10.
You better be sorry.
Okay. Right. Okay. So you two count down from 3 and then attack.
I'm going to knock her out from behind.
Well, try to knock her out.
Yep.
And what's Elaine doing? Just hacking for the crow?
Yeah, I'm gonna kill this bird.
Okay.
Nothing gets away.
So Cesura
Nothing.
springs through the kitchen with Elaine clanking along, not much behind him. Make your attack roll, Cesura.
I get.
I need to give you your defense first. Their defense first. Her defense is well, yeah, you're catching her by surprise, so she can't use the defense. Okay, so never mind. Yeah, just roll under your attack to hit.
20. Ooh, 1 away. I do it.
So you rolled a 20.
Yeah, I got
That's-
attack of 21.
Yeah, but you rolled a 20, which is a miss. It's a critical
Yeah.
miss, a fumble, in fact. Right, let's roll to see how bad the fumble is.
Is that joy I hear in your voice?
Right, you leap to attack her just as she turns away from what she was doing, and your sword strike smashes into the sort of brazier stovetop she was working on, and you spill scalding hot potion all over your hand. Take 2 health points of damage.
Okay.
So, it burns. And Elaine
Smooth.
attacking the crow. It's got no defense against you at the moment.
Yeah, I hit.
Okay, and roll damage.
Wait, hold on a second. Jeez. Yeah, so with Ganelon's sword, which is what I was going to use.
Yeah. It's your D20 for armor penetration.
Jesus Christ.
Did you say he's rolling D20 for armor penetration?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. What'd you get?
19.
Okay. And then the crow isn't undead, so it's D10 damage.
9 damage.
Okay, you skewer the crow off her shoulder, piercing it clean through with Ganelon's sword, which hisses and burns against its black feathers. What's Madrock doing?
I was gonna use the hilt of the sword to clobber
Smack her on the
the
noggin.
sorceress on the noggin.
Okay, so yeah, you come
Yeah, not our sorceress, the other one.
You come rushing up behind as she realises she's under attack and gets splashed with crow blood and tries to twist away. And you come up behind her. Right, so she will be able to defend herself now. Take 10 away from your attack and roll. No, 5 away from 5 away from your attack and roll.
Okay, that's not too bad. 13 or less. 11 off it. Hey.
Armor penetration.
11.
Damage.
The best I can do. Israel goes per turn. Yeah. Okay. 4.
4. Okay.
Right.
You land a blow through her finely tailored witch clothes and stab her in the side of her thigh, carving off a piece of muscle. She shrieks in pain.
I'll attacking.
Oh, sorry,
with
you
the
had the pommel, weren't you? Okay, so yeah, you managed to clout her on the head, but she doesn't go down. She just stumbles and twirls and sort of rolls along the edge of the counter. Right, Kerridan.
I will lunge forward and use the opportunity to unleash a bolt of dragon fire at her midriff.
Okay. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Okay, spend the magic points. What's the speed on that?
And the speed on it is 12.
Okay, so you need to roll 8 or under to hit.
All right. Nope.
Okay. She makes some sort of warding invocation with her fingers, and the flames just sort of stop about a foot in front of her. Right. She grabs a pouch from her belt and hurls it into the fire. It burns and billows out in smoke, which takes the vague form of a man, sparkling with embers. And it lunges for Caesura. What is Caesura's defense?
I didn't go into a defensive pose, so it's 11.
Right. It hits you with one smoky, steaming fist. You wouldn't think it would hurt, but where it strikes you, it burns and sizzles your flesh. But your armor absorbs the blow. Right. New turn. Cesora.
How far away is this she bitch?
She's a couple of meters to your left. But this steaming, miasmic smoke elemental thing is looming right next to you.
I'm going to shout out, fire in the hole! And I'm going to chuck a holy flashbang in her general direction.
Okay. So while the rest of you flinch away, there's a bright flash and bang. She is temporarily blinded. As is the smoke demon thing. Right, so it reels back, lifting its smoky hands to its eyes, and she shrieks and lowers her head and shakes it. So, Elaine.
I'm gonna strike at her when she's blinded.
Okay. Blade or pommel? Trying to
Blade,
take her-
I wasn't in on the.
You're not in
Take
on
her
this
alive.
whole take her alive nonsense. Okay. Roll to hit, just roll underneath your attack.
I hit.
Okay. Roll armor penetration.
5.
Okay. And roll damage.
Oh, okay. Oh shoot, what was damage for her?
D10, she's not undead. Or a demon. Close.
5 again.
5 damage. Okay. Right. She seems severely wounded now. Sort of reeling and twisting, trying to get away, sort of flailing around blindly. Madrock. Is muted? Or fallen off line again? Or...
Uh,
Oh,
Okay.
Pommel.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. No, I should be hit. Can you
Yeah,
hear
we
me
can
now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, so
So, pommel strike, just roll under your
I
attack.
rolled a 7, so
Okay. So roll armor penetration.
oh yeah, easy money.
Yeah.
That's a 9.
And damage.
So minimum damage again.
So how much damage?
That's not bad. That's another 9.
Another
9.
9 damage. Okay.
Yep.
Right. You smash the pommel into the back of her head, and she collapses, unconscious. Kerridan.
Hey.
Has John had to go for some reason? Oh, yeah, he's got to help in the other room.
Sure.
So he's going to step back and watch. So we'll give him a bonus turn or something if he gets back before the combat's over. Right. The steaming miasma creature continues its assault on Cesura, though it's blind, so it just kind of waves around and fails to hit anyone or anything, though it does rattle the pans. Okay, new turn.
Does this
Cesura.
actual entity have a body?
It's made of smoke and embers.
Right, so
It
basically
takes
it's
the
like-
shape of a man, but it seems to be vaporous.
I'm gonna go in a combat phase and wait for it to come for me.
Sorry, what?
I'm gonna wait for it to come for me, and then I'm gonna counter attack and attack it. So
Okay, so you're just going to wait till it has its go. Alright, Elaine,
Yes.
what do you want to do?
Oh, yeah, just kill.
Just kill. Okay, so you come in on this thing, which is blinking and seems to have found its vision again. Make an attack roll at -4. Sorry,
So
-7. So it takes 7
Okay,
away
I
from your
missed.
attack roll and that. Was that a miss?
Yes.
Okay. So it whirls and twists and sort of unforms and reforms, so your blade passes harmlessly through the space it was occupying. Madrock?
Is this thing still connected to the fire?
It is, yes.
And there's pans of liquid in here.
Yes.
Pouring one over the fire.
Okay, so you grab a pan.
Cut it off from its core.
Yeah, you grab a pan and splash it into the fire. Roll a d12.
Ooh. Either really good or really pointless, but I mean either way.
That's the
8.
8? Okay. Right, it seems to thin out and weaken and roars in pain as most of the coals are put out. That seems to be a clever move on your part. Kerridan stands back and watches. It lunges out again, this time for Madrock. What's your what's your...
I did make it back. I sent a note about being watching for surprise attacks.
I did see it. Yeah. We'll let you have a go next. After I guess. So Madrock, what's your defense?
Running away, usually.
Yeah. What is your defense score?
Give me
be
numbers,
more specific.
Hang on, I've lost the page. It's 10.
Okay.
No, I won't have the sword in my hand because Are they big, heavy pans?
They are big, heavy pans, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so it'll be 7.
7, okay. Right. Clearly reeling from the pain, it fails to land a blow on you, so it sort of does a bear hug in midair as you slip under it. Right. So Cesora was going to attack it after it had its attack, so it's now open.
Okay. I'm going to swipe it with me magical sword.
Okay, take 7 away from your attack score and roll. See if you get under.
Okay, I got a 6. Yep.
Okay, roll. Does it have armor? No. So, what damage does it do? 1d.
It does D8 plus 4 and D6 plus 3.
So
plus
so the second number is the damage. So it's D6 plus 3. So it's 1%. Okay, it does minimum damage to it, which is 4 points with the magic blade. Right. So only the magic of the blade makes contact with the creature and tears through some of its wispy smoke form. It weakens, but that did not do as much damage as you would have liked.
Is that including the plus 3?
Yes, you do the minimum damage plus the magic bonus. So 1 plus 3, 4 points of damage. Right, Kerridan. The witch is knocked out.
I will breathe another dragon breath attack against this creature.
Okay.
I'll mark the point.
So the speed on that's 12, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So you need 1 to 4 to hit.
Oh my! A 1. I rolled a 1.
So a crit. But it is a flame weapon. How much damage does flame burst do?
D6 plus 6.
So minimum damage is 7, but doubled for being a crit's 14. Okay, so despite it being a creature of smoke and flame, your billowing breath of fire strikes it and burns away the remnants of it. The clinkers are burned down to ash, and what's left of it just sort of settles out of the air like dust.
Nice.
Someone's watching over us.
Pee on the ashes just to make sure.
Right. In the sudden silence that falls at the end of combat, the music from the next room is much more audible.
Oh, I was muted when I said it before. I reckon they've got an eagle. I reckon that's who's playing the music.
Oh, it's a mime bird.
Nah, definitely an eagle.
I'll take this moment to spit on that bird.
Damn you. Okay, If Tenebron is to be found, it must be in this next chamber. But you do have the witch caught unconscious.
It's still daylight.
It is indeed.
Well, that would
Should
be.
we? Are there any reflective surfaces or mirrors in that last couple of rooms? Do you remember in the movie Legend how they set up a chain of?
Yeah, there was that huge 3-panel
Mirror in the bedroom.
in the bedroom.
In
Yeah.
her boudoir.
Why don't we set that up now so that it will, if we throw open one of these windows or something, it'll shine some light down the hall we're going into? Is that
Good idea.
possible?
Let's see, could you do that? Let me just check my map.
Or that might be a bit of a stretch, but you mentioned holy flashbangs that you had. You got them blessed, didn't you?
He did indeed.
Yes.
That, in addition with the mirror, if it's not too bulky to bring it down here, might magnify the effect somewhat.
If you wedge the doors open and you have one mirror in the snake chapel and another one in the master bedroom, then you should be able to bounce sunlight from the snake chapel all the way into the study.
I think we should set that up just as a failsafe.
Yep. Easy to take the mirror apart and set it up. Wedge the doors open with iron spikes taken from the ones that were used to wedge the tomb open. And you've got a little patch of sunlight now on the door from which the music is coming.
And of course, the character that's got the holy water chalice is not here.
No, he has other things to do.
All right, is everyone ready?
Oops. My sheet with all the baddie stats on has just crashed. Okay, let's see if I can load that back up again. Technology.
They have fled in terror.
Was that a Dalek-like voice? When you just said technology there, you brought a flash into my mind of the band Kraftwerk with one of their songs.
She walks like a hunchback with a hunch today.
Yeah, I mean, some of their music was great. Some of it was... The music was great. The lyrics were never their fine point.
I still prefer Tangerine Dream, John. I still prefer Tangerine Dream. Even though Kraftwerk were gifted, I still prefer Tangerine Dream.
Not
One of
Goblin.
my favorite albums is Exit from Tangerine Dream. I fell in love with that in the 80s.
Damn it.
Well, they were both German bands, Tangerine Dream and Kraftwerk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was big into Yes and prog rock too in the 80s. I really kind of found my own with Yes and Rush.
Well, in the 70s, I was into Alice Cooper, so that shows my age.
Isn't it
You
the
know,
law that
Alice
Canadians
Cooper
have
is
to
a
like
Christian.
Rush? I think it's part of the...
Alice Cooper, yeah, he's a Christian, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty hardcore believer.
He's gone back and forth on it. But...
No, his dad is. His dad's a preacher.
His dad is a evangelist priest, and his mum was just a housewife. Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of Canadians do like Rush. Hockey, however, I missed out on. I can't stand hockey, so I got stick all my life.
Someone give John a bit of wood.
You could say that joke was rather puckish.
It was very fuckish.
Sorry, I have
Just
to
need
rearrange
to
it.
remind everyone
Is it
that
bad everyone
John literally just said just then.
Did I
He did.
say eh? Oh.
Well, I don't like tea, so imagine the stick I've had all my life.
Right, it's like a crane not liking tea.
Yeah, I don't like tea either.
Yeah.
Were you guys kind of sent out of the room at tea time then? Like, fine, go have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Don't forget the peanut butter.
Yeah, I found a lot of Europeans apparently.
No,
really
that's an American thing.
But I have been even more British about tea once, because sometimes people don't ask and they just make you a cup of tea, and I have choked it down out of sheer politeness, which is even more British than drinking tea itself.
You're right about that. That's funny.
More tea, Vicar.
Wasn't there a famous racist priest in Britain, Father Ted?
Irish.
Irish, is he? Okay.
He's Irish.
There's one
I hear
episode
you're
where
Irish now, Father Ted, or I hear you're racist now, Father Ted. I keep seeing that.
Oh, so I hear you're racist now, Father Ted.
Go on.
Oh.
You can replace that with fascist today, I guess. I hear you're a fascist now.
I hear you're all right now, Father.
How did you get into that then?
Right.
So,
now that my documents are recovered and I actually have the stats of the baddies, we can stop being tangential. Yeah. That's how you know this isn't an overproduced Critical Role game. Right. So you have the mirrors lined up. You have a small patch of sunlight shining through the building against this study door. So it's just up to you how you proceed now. You can hear the music playing away inside. And a couple of low voices.
Why don't we do this dramatically? Have Sherlane kick the door down, have Cesora tumble in with Madrock behind him, throwing blades out at me, ready to unleash maybe a Deathlight spell.
Well, you've got the Nova spell, haven't you?
Deathlight or
I think
Nova?
that hits us as well, doesn't it?
I'm not sure. I shall consult my mighty tome.
Nova, as written, hits everyone in the air, not just enemies. But
Yeah.
that's as written. It's up to you if you do that one.
I didn't ask.
I am a bastard when I'm reffing, so I enforce that ruthlessly.
I didn't
Otherwise,
ask.
they go hanging that thing off left, right, saying, I'm not having it.
I didn't ask how big the room was. I said I cast Fireball.
Fireball. Yep.
What level is Nova? Okay.
I believe it's
Any
7.
being within 5 meters who fails to jump clear is struck by 1 to 3 of the beams. Whereas Deathlight strikes a single target.
D4 targets, actually, for Deathlight.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, sorry. D4. But yeah, not chums. Only baddies.
Mm-hmm.
So is that what you're going to do then? Just burst into the
Deathlight
room?
like a chain lightning.
Well, if Celine was going to kick the door down, I was going to chuck a flashbang in.
Oh, yeah, the flashbang, too. Throw that in and boom.
Yeah, I've got holy flashbangs. I've got holy flashbangs, yeah.
Yes, okay.
So Celine kicks the door down, I chuck a flashbang in, you chuck whatever you want to chuck in, and Madrock can chuck whatever you want to chuck into the boat, just to give it extra kit.
I do have
Sounds like
daggers. I've actually got a chance to hit
Sorry?
those.
You
And then,
could,
and then we do that and find we've just killed the band. Fuck you,
can-
good night.
You can cast Nova at a range of 5 meters, so you could kick open the door. Kerridan could cast Nova into the room rather than, on the spot where you are, and then it wouldn't hit any of you. And the flashbang could be tossed in.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
Thank goodness you've saved me. Ah!
Boom.
Yeah.
It's all right.
You're making it far too easy here, Grim.
It's all right. There's no witnesses. They're all dead. Okay. So for the
It's
surprise
like
turn,
Homelander and so on the show The Boys. Remember when they're in the airplane?
Yeah.
Did you watch that? But yeah,
Right.
I'll stand ready.
So
Super Saiyan.
Elaine hoofs the door in so hard it breaks off its hinges and falls to the ground. The thin beam of sunlight shines through into the room beyond, but before you can really scope out what's in there, the flashbang and the Nova bomb go off. Right, so cross off the magic points for the Nova.
Okay.
Okay.
And all that's left is the banner saying, "Happy 4th birthday, Billy."
Make-A-Wish Foundation. He wanted to meet Dracula. Yeah.
Thanks for the memory. Grim.
Day trip to a castle, yay!
Can you turn me into a vampire, Mr. Dracula, so I don't die of bone cancer?
Oh.
Fucking got me.
This could be a bit anticlimactic. Okay.
Please,
That's
Mr.
pretty much
Jackson,
the
bite
whole
me
thing
again.
on the last couple of seasons of iZombie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She was saving people by doing that. That was some heart-wrenching stuff. That was a lot better than it should have been.
Or as Kenneth Williams said in Carry On Screaming, "Why tonight?"
Okay, there is a blinding flash of light and an enormous explosion of magic in the room. Furnishings are set aflame, thrown against the walls. The band, the skeletons that were playing music somehow, some of them were elaborately designed with sort of bellows and things so they could play wind instruments. They're blown to ashes instantly. A man, familiar from his portrait, clearly Lord Tenebron, sat at the far side of the room, so goes, and puts his hand over his eyes as the flashbang goes off. And near to him is a gigantic hound with flames licking around its jaws, and a hooded, warty hobgoblin who's also like, "Ah, my eyes!" So that
Son
was...
of a bitch.
I just hear Gilbert Gottfried now in my voice.
My eyes! The goggles, they do nothing!
Oh, God. What is this wrong?
Why am I not surprised?
Renfield was a hobgoblin, but as well.
Right, so that was your surprise turn. Tenebron moves with unnatural speed, stands up out of his chair, robe flapping around him, and mutters some sort of dark magic, and then blinks and focuses his eyes on you. Cesora, what do you want to do?
I'm actually quite surprised the Nova spell didn't do anything to him.
It did. It blew the band up.
Oh, right, so the band's got the buffer then.
Yeah, they've been destroyed. All those expensive musical skeletons have been annihilated.
I was right. We killed the band.
Is the Lord looking at me directly, eye to eye?
No,
Right,
he's just
In the
looking in
name
the
of the-
general direction of the group.
right. I'm going to say, in the name of the true Father, face my wrath, and take the cross off and wave it right in his fucking face.
Right. Okay. I have to remember what that does. Vampires.
Yeah. It's like the two nuns on a mission of mercy in Romania. And Dracula jumps on the bonnet, and Sister Agatha goes to Sister Mary, "Show him your cross, show him your cross." She runs down the window and goes, "Get off the fucking bonnet, you bitch!" And I only thought that was funny.
Two nuns in the bath. There's a sudden plop noise. One nun says to the other, goes, "Where's the soap?" The other one says, "Yeah, it does, doesn't it?"
Uh,
I didn't get that. Where's the soap? It does, doesn't it?
Yes.
It works better as a written joke. Yeah.
Okay.
Well done. I thought I was the only one that knew that.
Where, WHERE, or where, WEAR?
Where thou so?
It's a wank joke.
Yes, I know.
Because women don't do that. They just really enjoy baths. Yes.
Here we are. Apart from vulnerability to the light of day, a vampire has 3 major weaknesses. Garlic. Presenting a cross to a vampire will cause it to flinch back, giving a character an opportunity to escape. If they continue to present the cross, they can attempt to drive the vampire away.
God damn it. Do you know what? It's been so long since I've ever played a game where like vampires actually follow vampire rules. I didn't I didn't even conceive of it.
Okay, so what is Caesora's rank?
8.
8, but you get +2 from the presence of Ganelon's sword, which takes it to 10. You present the sword. He flinches but doesn't back away yet. So you can continue to wave the cross at him.
So like moving it forward slowly and saying basically the equivalent of the Lord's Prayer whilst holding this cross right in arm's length.
Right. Elaine.
I guess
Go like that.
You know, shield of Callalon raised high. I'll try to cleave this foul beast in twain.
Okay, so you surge forward with his holy sword towards Tenebron.
It's a Ponzi way of saying I hit it with sword.
Yes, I like Ponzi ways of saying things. Right, he's.
Oh, I have Swordmaster. So I crit. I did a crit.
You did a crit. Well, done a crit.
Yeah, on a 2.
Yeah. So you won't be able to defend against that. So that's double damage.
I almost thought you said you have sword mustard, and I thought, what the hell did he say?
Yes,
what?
you coat your blade with mustard and it
Is
stings more.
Is he undead?
He is undead because he's a vampire. Right.
Get away.
And it automatically penetrates armor anyway. So that's D12 damage doubled.
Ooh.
Wow.
15.
Ay caramba. Right.
Hang on. No, you've done the maths wrong.
Yeah, I was going to say D12 doubled.
It can't be an odd number if it's been doubled.
Yeah,
I
it can't be an odd
rolled
number.
D12.
Doubled.
I rolled D12 twice.
Oh. Well, yeah, okay. We'll let it stand. Right. So you.
Oh, sorry.
You stride up to him.
Right.
I think it would have been 14 because I rolled a 7 and
I'll let you have the extra
8.
point. You cleave the holy sword of Ganelon into him. It carves clean through his armor and into the undead flesh beneath, which starts to sizzle and pop and ulcerate under the merest touch of the blade. Ah! You're no Ganelon. The gigantic hellhound at his feet leaps to defend him, attacking Elaine. What's Elaine's defense?
My defense is... I should know this number by heart. I don't. It is 17.
Are you putting all of your defense against the hellhound? Or how much?
Oh. Interesting. I guess I'll put 7 defense against the hellhound.
Okay. Right, it leaps up and chomps onto your arm, but it doesn't bite through the armor. It just grinds its unholy teeth on the metal. Must be teething. Madrock.
Sorry, a puppy. Sorry, a puppy.
I'm going to whack a dagger at the hobgoblin.
Okay. He's still wading around blind, so you just need to roll under your attack. Well, you do anyway, because it's a ranged attack.
Okay.
So you hit.
No.
No. Okay. So even though he's blind, you still miss. Right, you hurl your
Hang
hurl.
on. Okay, I don't know if it has any game effect at all. I got a lucky charm from the midwife, I think
Yes.
it was, the last scenario.
Do you want to use that?
Yes.
Okay. The lucky
I have
charm.
no idea if it's enough, but
The lucky charm shatters, and your dagger seems to swing in midair and strike the goblin in the neck. Roll double damage.
Oh, nice. I thought you did just tell me it was a load of nonsense. Okay, now I've got to find out what damage it actually does. It's D6 for daggers?
I think
Yeah,
so.
the damage.
Yeah.
Yep. So 2d6 or 1d6 doubled?
1d6 doubled.
Nice. And with the +1 on top, before or after the roll?
You double the +1 as well.
That is pretty awesome. That is 14 points of damage because I rolled 6.
Right, so the dagger suddenly deflects in midair and pierces the goblin's throat from side to side. He gurgles and drops to his knees but doesn't die.
Oh, I so thought I'd done a one shot.
Oh, almost 1 hit point away.
Oh no!
Kerridan.
That's still awesome.
I will spend my last amount of magical energy, my sorceress energy, and cast the fossilize spell at the vampire lord.
Ooh.
Magical
Excellent
attack
wording.
versus magical defense.
Okay. So what's your magical attack?
24.
Right, you need to roll 5 or under.
Oh my god! Here we go.
You can put magic points in.
Yeah, if you
I don't have any. I
increase your
don't have any
magical
extra.
attack.
That's all your
I don't have any
points.
extra.
But, okay.
I rolled a 3, however.
Okay, let me just double check what
All right.
this does.
Oh, thank you.
What level spell is that?
That is a level 5 spell.
Doesn't affect gargoyles or non-corporeal creatures, but it does work on the undead. Okay. So he's sort of recoiling from Elaine as this holy sword cleaves into him, sort of winding up to counterattack, when suddenly his feet seem rooted to the ground and he stares down and the stone gradually climbs up his body and he goes "Ah!" and freezes in place.
Oh, quickly! We don't have much time. The spell won't last too long. Hack him to pieces.
Actually, it lasts until dispelled.
Oh,
So
I thought it was.
no, it lasts until
Turned him
dispelled.
into a bird feeder.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. It isn't ongoing. Okay, until dispelled. All right.
Right, the hobgoblin.
Quickly, we have all the time in the world.
The hobgoblin clutches at his bloodied throat and gurgles, "No, master, no." And
Shut it, Dobby.
Shut it, Dobby. Right.
Did you say Jobby or Hobby?
Dobby.
Oh, my bad. My viewing's going
Right.
wild.
In a rage, he turns around and channels the last of his life force to avenge his master, casting his horrible pagan magics on Kerridan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is Kerridan's evasion?
Evasion is only a 4.
Okay. So you are struck with a blast of freezing magic.
Oh,
and take 12 points of freezing damage.
Okay. I have health 11, so please describe what happens.
Right, so the goblin casts his sort of death curse on you as he
Armor
gurgles
have
his
any
last.
effect on this at all?
Armor has no effect on that.
No effect. Okay,
Right,
sorry.
no.
Okay, a huge blast of icy magic streaks across the room and strikes Kerridan. Sort of knocked back by it, slowly freezing, turning blue. You see puffs of breath for a moment, and then they stop, and Kerridan collapses unconscious, rimed with frost, to the ground. But not dead yet. But the hobgoblin is. Tenebron stands there, looking handsome in a statuesque sort of way. Caesura?
I've got 2 options here, guys. Hobgoblin or statue? Quick. Statue. Okay.
Do you need to attack a
The
statue?
dog. The dog.
Or you could help Kerridan.
It's true.
I don't have a healing.
Also,
have a
when that spell that turned to a statue, what happens if Kerridan's unconscious?
No, it stays up until dispelled. So
Until dispelled.
he is permanently a statue until and unless someone casts Dispel Magic on him.
Alright.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to attack the hobgoblin then.
He's dead as well. He used his life force to cast the ice spell. Yeah.
Alright, okay.
So it's just the Hellhound.
Okay, I've got a combat stance for the Hellhound then.
Okay. So you cleave it off Elaine's arm. Take 7 away from your attack and roll to hit it.
1. Here we go.
Okay. So straight through armor. Roll double damage.
Okay. That is 15.
Okay. You strike at it. Flames lick out of its body over your arm. Take 1 health point of damage, and you cleave it off his arm, and it's almost dead. It's sort of wheezing globs of fire as fiery blood drips out of its side. Elaine.
Yes.
Good.
Oh, chat.
Yes, I'll
Finish it.
decapitate it with one.
Okay, has no
Spells.
defense left,
Oof.
so roll equal to it under your attack.
I hit.
And it's going to go straight through its armor, so we'll just roll damage.
7.
Right, you cleave it to the floor with your sword. There's a blast of sulphurous smoke, and it disappears. Silence descends once more. There's nothing here but Tenebron's statue.
What's he a statue of? Ice? Stone?
Stone.
Granite? I'm tempted to put the crucifix
Sedimentary
on it.
rock, because it's called fossilized.
We should
Would
lay
he
him
get
out.
aggravated damage if he's got a crucifix around his neck? Grim?
It would probably be a problem for him if anyone ever dispelled the magic.
Does anyone have anything to heal Kerridan?
I'll put the crucifix around the neck. Grim.
Okay. There are potions around.
Yeah. Not sure. Are there? All right. In that case, if I can find one of those, I'll.
Yeah, so Kerridan can be brought back to warmth and consciousness with about 6 hit points.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a nice sandstone statue.
I need hot tea.
I say we put him in the garden.
Hot tea.
I'd say we put him out in the sunlight and just let the
Yeah.
sun back to the stone.
Gentlemen, we have Valandar steel. Carve him into pieces.
You mean chips?
Sure.
Yeah.
And then we can bag it out under the sun.
Yep, sounds like a plan.
add the gravel to the driveway.
Yeah.
All right, so
Might be able to find some
you
fishing
hack the
kitchen.
helpless Tenebron's body into chips with your Valandar's swords, and scatter him outside in the dying rays of the sunshine. The likelihood of him returning seems remote, and with the place now cleared and the undead army leaderless, you'll be able to shelter here with no trouble for the night. It's not the most pleasant of places to stay, but it has a roof and a fire, and you can rest and figure out what you're going to do next.
Well, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to gag and blindfold that hunchback. Make sure he's not going to escape.
Did you want to search that final room?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. And I'm going to brew up a very strong acid. I'm going to keep the head, and I'm going to melt it away in acid.
Okay. So there's quite a lot of treasure built up through the ages that you find in part of the cellar. Not that you need money, but it's good to have a nice war chest. He had a short blade, a dagger made in an old style, but it definitely radiates magic, and it seems to cut in a similar way to Ganelon's blade. The armor that he was wearing is essentially a set of +3 padded armor, so that would probably be good for either Keradon or Madrock to wear.
Madrock, go for it.
I really would like it.
Oh, take it. I don't wear armor.
I think that would definitely be better for you.
You also find some more letters and notes and journals, seemingly written by Lord Tenebron and passed between himself and Montombre and the guy who was the Prince of Algandi until the king died. He accidentally brutally cut his head off while shaving.
Oh. Slightly corporate suicide in Shadowrun. Beat the crap out of himself and shot himself in the back of the head twice.
Yes. So Algandi is basically medieval Spain/Portugal. They have a very active Inquisition. They're quite nasty to spellcasters, so quite why they'd ally with a vampire lord and an elfin earl, you don't know. But it would seem that the plan is was for Tenebron's army to come out of the earth and attack settlements across Albion. And then in the confusion, the Algandi army is supposed to cross the waters and invade Albion from the south.
No Francis straight to save us.
Yeah. At the same time, Montombre's army is supposed to march from their positions and sandwich basically half of Albion between the Algandan army and Montombre's army and mercenaries that he's hired from Ferromain. Meanwhile, in the far north, in Glissom, the plan seems to be for the cult of Baelor and some of Montombre's northern holdings, which is basically the Danelaw. So Mercanian, sort of settled former Vikings, essentially. They are to attack Glissom, break its capital, and then begin the march south into Erewhon and onward. Right. So there is a plan between these three figures to basically take over the entire island and unite it under a single kingdom.
Talk about Chocolami.
Yeah. Now you've removed a major part of that plan, but
how much of these skeletons been programmed for? Because if we go down there and they're still carrying on doing that,
when you go down there, you find some of them still digging, but they're still ignoring you, and the rest of the skeletons just seem to be dormant.
Destroy the caverns.
Destroy what?
Caverns.
The caverns. Yes. Should we turn this information over to the king
Or
and allow them to
someone power.
deal with? Or I mean, this. I mean, the logistics that would have to be involved, and or are we meant to go down to the next two locations and take them out as well? Is that the idea?
Well, it's probably a more grand scale of things going on. You'll need to get armies involved and kings. I mean, you have the king, the new king of Erewhon as your charge. You know the king of Glissom. You know Baron Aldred. So I think we're coming up on 11. So I think we'll stop there. We'll give you guys a week to come up with your plan or whatever plan of attack. You can discuss it in the Discord. Those of you who are in the Discord.
Can you send me another invite for that? Because my old ID got conked out. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send you an invite. If I don't, remind me. And then we'll try to make next week the sort of final climactic session where we put paid to the plans of evil. Okay. So I will level up your characters and disperse the treasure. Who wants Lord Tenebron's magical dagger? You've got enough loot. And Madrox getting the armor? Okay.
No, I think the sorceress would be best for that.
I wouldn't want to wear it, quite frankly, if it was a Vampire Lord's armor for so long. Who knows what kind of residual heebie-jeebies. I don't think Carradine would like to give it what happened to Carradine. I don't think it was. She would.
Okay.
I've only just got my nice silk stuff. I'm really loving that.
We'll put it in storage.
All right. So
yeah, that'll be useful.
Next week, last session.
I'm turning down the stats because I like the look of what I've got.
That's me in most computer games, and I die a lot. All right. We'll see you next week for the hopeful finale. And thanks for playing, everyone. I'll update your sheets.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you. Good night.
Brilliant game, man.
Take care.
Right.
Bye-bye.
See you next week, guys.